Fat. We're the Phat Peeps.
Hey, peeps.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phat Peeps Podcast. I am one of the Phat Peeps and your host, Joey Biscacci, and I am here with PJ,
Hello.
cameraman John,
Hello.
Garrick,
Salutations.
and special reoccurring guest Sarah.
Wow.
Oh, hello.
Can we get the wow sound effect? You know, the
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
The one that's like in
No.
all the YouTube videos.
yeah, with all sparkly
It's
sounds.
just like stock. Where is that
Oh,
from?
yeah.
Is that from like
feel like it's from anime, isn't
Snapchat
it?
or something?
It
Oh,
sounds like an
anime.
anime thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know, but like
Wow.
its
Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle,
proliferation in mainstream YouTube culture makes me think it's like a Snapchat filter.
It probably
Right.
is.
Yeah.
Probably
like
a
inspired
Snapchat
by
thing.
anime.
It's
Mhm.
probably originally from an anime when it's just clipped and put millions of different places.
Yeah.
Let me Google that while we
Yeah.
continue.
Anyway, this is Phat Peeps Podcast, where we are fat peeps and we talk about some fat topics.
Oh,
But first, we like to start with the icebreaker topic, and today's icebreaker topic is: do you guys wear shoes around the house?
oh wow.
I'm
Good
gonna go
question.
first. 100%. Like my
You
shoes
heathen.
don't come off until I go to bed,
You
Really?
and even then, sometimes they
Wow.
don't come off.
So
But
Wow.
are you comfortable though?
100%.
Wow.
well,
Like,
okay.
so I've always gone by the philosophy, right? Because like, there's two sides to the shoe discussion, right? Are they shoe prisons, or are they shoe protection
Oh,
or
wow.
foot protection?
These are the
right?
questions.
Foot prison,
Ah.
foot
This is
protection.
going somewhere. Okay.
I am all about the foot protection side of this argument, right? When you have your shoes on,
Right.
you don't got to worry about like everybody's like, oh no, Legos on the ground. Bitch, I don't care about a Lego on the ground. I got
Oh,
shoes
my.
on, right?
right.
I
You
Okay.
see where I'm
True.
coming from?
I
Good
can
point.
see that's the one argument where I'll agree with you.
Wait. So you use the shoes for all areas, not like indoor shoes or like, yeah, that's indoor shoes,
Right.
outdoor shoes, or is it just
No,
like
I
shoes,
just we just got
everything?
shoes.
I feel like
we
that's
just
a
got shoes.
very like active
So-
family thing to do those, to wear shoes
Right.
indoors.
Yeah, maybe, and like people who come and go a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's another element.
Unless if you're Asian.
We have
That
Right,
eliminates
right,
the whole
exactly.
entire like
Uh,
I don't care
which-
what you are, active or not.
we also have hardwood floors, right? There's
Oh,
no
wow.
carpet, with no carpet in the entire house. So
Hmm.
that probably has quite a bit to do with it.
Yeah, but you can wear like socks instead of shoes.
And
And you
then
can
die?
slide. Yeah, slide.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I mean, yeah, but like,
Joey doesn't
No.
sound like it seemed like a bullshit. I like sliding around my floors type of person. He wants to get to his destination and quick.
I would rather run
Mm.
down the hall than slide down the hall.
What?
Let's
That's
put it
not
like that.
fun.
No, it's faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True.
See?
Yeah,
If I
used to
run
do
down
that.
the hall, like I will a lot of the time just run to the kitchen to do stuff because it's like I get to the kitchen faster. I'm a man who's about efficiency.
All right.
Now, see, for us to have the flip
Efficiency
side,
means not taking your shoes on and off constantly.
I can understand that. See, so for the flip side of it, the other, I wouldn't say half of us, but two of like Garrick and John are part Asian of some descent, so that kind of like gives a
Yeah.
little bit of a hint that there's no shoes in the house. I was raised partially Asian by Garrick's family, so no shoes in the house for me either. Plus, when I was very young, my dad got the carpets redone throughout the house, so that was just like, let's make a new rule: no shoes in the house. And I was like, I already follow that rule when I go to other people's houses, so sure. But babe, I feel like your family is a little more lenient on that.
Yeah, I was brought up like if someone says like you need to take your shoes off, of course do it. But in our house, we were mainly like in flip flops or barefoot or in socks. Or if we felt like wearing shoes, we'd wear shoes. So like around our house, mine and PJ's house, I wear socks or slippers. But if
Which
I'm
I'm
going
fine with.
somewhere, I put shoes on.
But then this heathen wears like sneakers to bed sometimes. She's just laying on the bed with the sneakers on. I'm like,
Oh my god.
Oh,
Is that-
See, like I do that
Disgusting.
all the time.
Uncultured.
Oh,
No,
no.
no.
Oh, get out of here.
No.
Joey
keep
also.
I keep my shoes
Who
off of the bed
cares?
though. I keep my feet dangling off of the bed, and the shoes do not touch the bed.
I
So
don't know. I've seen some bad things happen sometimes.
Oh,
See,
oh my
no.
gosh,
I have the
no.
worst luck when just walking around and just stepping in just garbage. Like
Or
shit,
poop.
gum.
Right. So like
you know,
that's the
Mhm.
thing.
I have
It's
the
like
worst luck in that.
if you got something on your shoes, maybe don't walk in the house, right?
But it's
if
like
I
no
have
matter
something
Yeah.
on my
how
shoe-
hard you scrub,
or-
you're still gonna have
or
poop or gum
if
particles.
if it's been raining outside, I will
yeah.
take off my shoes at the door because I don't want to track
Yeah.
water through the house, right? But like
Right.
I will take off the shoes that I'm wearing and then go put on a different pair of shoes in the house.
Oh, my.
That's a
Joey,
problem.
have you ever heard of slippers?
what's
Yeah.
No, they're all fuzzy on the inside.
You
Oh
don't
no,
have
no,
to
don't
get
get the
fuzzy
fuzzy kind.
sli-
Yeah, I
oh
do not like
my.
fuzzy
Oh.
kind. No,
Ugh.
dude, get like some bamboo, like nice bamboo.
Joey,
like, weave.
please stop
sandals.
I'm
stereotyping
very
slippers.
against the idea of slippers.
Oh man,
Why do I need slippers? I can wear shoes.
It's more
and
convenient.
it's airy.
Why do you?
Airy.
Oh my god! You
Your
have to
poor
tie
My
feet
your
shoes
should
are
breathe.
fine.
Whereas
Like I wear
slippers, you
slip-on
slip
Vans,
them
they
on.
might as well be slippers.
This might as well be the what kind of shoes you'd rather wear for like ever question because
Also,
I know.
on
I would
the,
rather
uh,
wear sandals
Your feet are probably
for-
shriveled
for-
up.
forever. Like
hot?
only for running. That's all I need for running shoes. But like if I were to like able to wear anything I want, it would always be sandals. I would go anywhere with sandals.
I have nothing but pairs of slip-on Vans and Vans.
Yeah, but you're a skater boy.
I think the model's authentic.
Yeah, but you're a skater boy,
Uh,
so that kind of stuff makes sense
Yeah,
for you.
but I don't have like DCs or anything.
No,
or,
but like you
any
still
other
wear
brands.
a brand that skaters wear. So like,
Sure.
Wait, Joey. Do you
What?
sleep with socks on?
No.
that's gross.
So
Who
your
does
feet-
that?
So your feet can breathe.
If it's
okay.
cold,
Yeah.
If it's
Like
cold, yeah,
when I
I-
go to bed, I take like my shoes and socks off because that's crazy.
Well, okay, so I've been wearing socks to bed because I got these hashtag not sponsored Earth Therapeutic
You don't have to say the
socks.
brand name. You just have to say what they.
It's fine. You can
It's
say
like
the
brand
name.
for
Well, no,
everything,
because
Doug.
there's no other brand that really makes them.
I know. It's
that
like
I know
whenever
of.
we're talking about stuff.
What does this product do?
Yeah, what does it do?
So they're like moisturizing socks.
hot.
Oh,
And
wow.
so
Oh,
you
okay,
put
sure.
lotion on your feet first, and then you put the socks on, and you sleep with them, or like leave them on during the day or whatever. My feet were wrecked from the past 2 months of not working because like they just dried out. I'm sitting
Oh
and
god.
with my feet on a hardwood floor, which is just taking out the natural oils. So they were cracking. They felt like I was walking on hot rocks all the time. So I
Uh-oh.
wore these for a couple nights. Problems all gone completely.
Working their magic.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I don't wear socks to sleep. I hate wearing socks.
See,
to sleep.
but like that's different, right?
I-
So this is
It's
like a medicinal item.
well,
Yeah.
they're super soft too.
This
It
is like
literally
going to bed with a accessory that's gonna boost your stats in the morning.
right. Well, that and it felt like little rabbits were hugging my feet through the
Yeah.
night.
I mean, if they're
Oh,
clean
wow.
socks, if you wear clean socks to bed, that's
Oh,
fine,
they're not
bro.
clean anymore, but
Yeah.
I'm still wearing them
uh,
occasionally.
Oh
okay.
my.
I
I'm
don't
just
see a
gonna
problem
throw
with
it out
socks in bed.
there.
No, they're clean.
I sleep with socks on all the time.
Yeah,
I can't do
honestly,
it.
that's
I can't
fine.
do it.
So
just
here's
do it.
so I'm gonna say girl socks, and no like not trying to like stereotype
That's
or like
sexist.
but
Joey.
girl socks generally a lot like silkier and more comfortable.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
this
Yeah, what's up with
brand
that?
is geared towards women, but it's like unisex. So it's one of those like these are women's socks, so they're super soft because of that. If I wore my socks to bed, I'd wake up in the morning feeling like crap.
Well, I
Right.
don't know because I've worn PJ socks before when I can't find any of mine, and his are just as comfortable.
Yeah,
Y-
but
you-
you
you
like
all must
compression
have
socks.
Sensitive
And my socks
feet.
feel like compression socks. At least to me they do.
Because I've worn
Also, I wonder
socks to bed.
because and this is like a wives' tale, but like There's always like women run cold and like men run hot. So I wonder if
It
like
depends on the person. She
Might be.
runs warmer than I do
Yeah.
mostly.
No,
Oh,
you
really?
radiate heat.
No, I
like,
radiate heat, but you definitely
You're a
get
radiator.
warmer easier than I do. Like I can deal with warmer temperatures than you can.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like heat at all.
And I get cold easier. I used to be like someone that could bear the cold, but not anymore.
You could be wearing a
Yeah.
sweatshirt and sweats, and I'll be in a tank top and shorts.
Yeah, so it just depends. I mean, I definitely like if I'm running around, the second that I start doing
Wait a-
stuff, then I get warm and it's over. Like I'm done.
Right.
I'm warm for the day.
Right. Yeah. It's like once your like body starts heating up,
Right.
like not from ambient temperature, it's kind of like rough.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. I can like, cause like, well, I mean, it's the same. You guys live down in LA, up here in the Central Valley. It's kind of like the central or the same kind of heat, where it's just like that dry. Like it'll be like 103 degrees,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like whatever in it.
Yeah.
Like it's fine.
He's okay. Yeah.
But also, I was gonna mention earlier we were talking about like going over to people's houses, right? So like, if I go to somebody's house and they're like, "Oh, you got to take your shoes off," I will do it because like, obviously, I'm not gonna be rude, but like, I'm never going to your house again.
Oh
Oh
my.
God.
Oh jeez.
Wow.
Like, I will just like avoid like. Because I'm just like weird. I don't like taking
You
my
made me
shoes
take
off.
my shoes off, you son of a bitch. I will not fucking let you
Right.
live this down.
Like you can come to my house, we can hang out, and we can hang out at other places. But like, I'm not
I
gonna
will-
go to your house.
I will stare at your shoes the whole time. I won't tell you to take your shoes off, but I will stare at them the whole time you're in our place. Number one. Number two, I go to your place. I will still be staring
See,
at your shoes,
you're-
dumbfounded.
You're making it out to be this whole like weird thing.
No,
when it's totally not.
It is weird.
It is
to
kind of
me.
weird.
It is a little, just a little.
Let me
but
just say,
no
I
judgment.
just I don't feel comfortable taking my shoes off.
Is it like a
out
stinky
in
feet
public and at other
situation?
people's houses? Maybe a little bit of
Maybe,
that,
okay.
or
Yeah, I can
just
get that.
like I don't, I don't like taking my shoes off.
Right,
there
right,
goes
right.
all of Joey's Joey's
Uh,
Asian friends.
I know.
Oh, I
that's
know, right?
that's.
You know what's weird is I actually had a Chinese friend in like middle school, and his family was like whatever about people wearing
Yeah.
shoes in the house.
It depends. Like if they're not like
They weren't real Asians.
they
Yeah,
they were
clearly, yeah.
whitewashed.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
It's pretty funny because it's not just an Asian thing. It's like, I mean, depending on what you consider Asian, but it's like it's also like I think a lot of Middle Eastern.
well, and
Families
Hispanic
also-
too.
Yeah.
You wear
Hispanic too.
chanclas in the house.
Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I wonder if it comes from the environment,
Right.
right? So like North America is like generally dry and like rocky, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's like whereas like in the Middle East you have like a bunch of like dust and stuff on your shoes that you're gonna track in the house, right? And like in
I
like
mean, depending on the region, yeah, but
yeah, and like in Asia, like it's wetter. Like you have like wetter climates.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to like use my brain to figure out where that comes from.
yeah, I think it's just like not to bring the outside dirtiness
Right, yeah.
indoors.
Yeah.
Is
And
what
like
I'm assuming.
culturally, like why that divide exists, where like
Yeah.
with like Europeans,
It's a-
particularly like Northern European, it's not really as much of a thing.
It's
Yeah,
more of a
which is
mindset, I
interesting.
think, because like the way that Asian culture works is like divisions of space of life. So like work, those shoes are work
Sure.
shoes. And then you come home and you're supposed to be in a mentality of I'm in my own zone. I'm
Yeah,
relaxing."
Yeah.
and it
Put on indoor
like
shoes or
it
slide
goes as
sandals.
far as like not just taking your shoes off, but also like putting on your robe and like you're like transitioning mindsets almost.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Another big thing too is what color carpet do you have? Like if you have a white
Sure.
carpet, you
That
know,
white
of course.
shag.
Don't want to muck that up. I think in general, if you
Ah,
have like
shade.
rugs and carpets, you probably don't really want to be wearing shoes
No,
around.
yeah. So if your
Right.
whole house is hardwood, that's usually where I see
Yeah.
people don't care, or like that tile
But
or
even-
fake tile.
So
Yeah, like laminate flooring.
Yeah.
the last house I lived in, it was pretty much all hardwood, at least in the main walking area. But that stuff is so annoying to clean. Like hardwood
Mhm.
floor. Just you have to mop. You have to like sweep it and mop it. It's like when
Yeah, you
just
sweep and
kind of
mop it.
Instead of just
vacuum
vacuuming.
carpet. It's like that's
Well,
why we
but I
never
mean,
wanted to
like
wear shoes
carpet,
inside.
carpet you don't just vacuum, right? Like
Yeah,
if
I
you
mean, it's
just
easier.
vacuum carpet, you like clean it, but you don't really clean it.
Right.
It's like
Right.
if you just sweep the floors, right?
Right.
Like to really clean a carpet, you got to get like one of those carpet cleaner things that like, you know,
Yeah, because like
Gets
has the
down
water
deep.
in it, like gets down deep, yeah, with the
Right.
bristles.
Mhm.
so it's like whenever we had parties there, it's like we're not fucking cleaning up this mess. Like everyone take your shoes off because it was by the beach, so everyone would go to the beach. and
Right,
bring
go to the
sand.
beach, get
So
sandy,
it's like
yeah.
we don't want to clean up your mess.
Mhm.
So that's we had a no shoe. At least upstairs, we had an upstairs where the main hangout spot was, and that
And-
was like the no shoes allowed.
And like that makes sense.
I thought that
Yeah.
was funny when we went over, and Will, like, I feel like Will said to people, like, take your shoes off before you come upstairs. Like, Garrick and I got there, and he didn't say anything to us.
Yeah.
I feel like he knew we were gonna just
Yeah,
take our
yeah.
shoes off.
Yeah.
So, like,
He
Well,
didn't have to
it's
say
easy.
anything.
Like houses like that, there's a place for shoes, so you
Right.
can automatically
Yeah, it
assume.
was designed
Right.
that way too.
Hello.
There is a shoe section where you put all
Right.
your shoes. Like it was built into the house, which is neat.
Mm.
Right.
And
So
you
it's like-
see other shoes there, so you
Yeah.
just like you pick up on the cultural cue
Yeah.
of hey,
Yeah,
take
it's
Right.
your
not like you're
fucking
gonna
shoes
say,
off.
"Well, YOLO, just walk up
Yeah.
the stairs."
right. Oh man, if we ever have a house that nice, like, I will. Except for Joey. Joey's always welcome to leave his shoes on. But
No, I'm
anyone
just
else, I
gonna-
will
I'm-
murder coming
For
up the stairs with
Joey, I'm
shoes.
gonna buy those little throwaway booties.
Oh, to put on the
No,
shoe.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
just
No,
have
yes.
a,
Yes.
just have a
So we can meet
dedicated.
them halfway.
Yeah.
No, just have a dedicated pair of like indoor checkered van slip-ons.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
And
that's
we'll
fair.
have-
That's fair.
Like
We'll-
everybody
we'll
else
just
will
make
put
your
on their
shoes nice.
slippers,
Our-
and I'll just transition
good.
from regular
We'll have the
my
Zen
outdoor slip-ons
office.
to my indoor slip-ons.
Well, I mean, that's what we kind of had. Well, I mean, my family doesn't, but all my relatives were all full of like Asian Taiwanese. They all have like guest sandals or guest shoes for
Right.
indoor use.
Well,
so it's like,
yeah, we'll have like the Zen
That's
office
definitely
space where
something.
everyone takes their shoes off at the Phat Peeps / like Crucible office, and then Joey will just have his checkered Vans just sitting
Yeah.
at the front door, waiting for him.
I love it. I love it.
That's awesome. I'm down.
All right, I think it's probably about time we
20
get to the
minutes of
news.
shoes. How do you feel
Oh,
about
wow.
that?
Well,
It's not
Some
just
shoes.
shoes.
Shits.
It's not just shoes. We're talking about other
it was
things.
interesting. Yeah,
It was-
shoes
This
are
was
very
very
captivating.
important
Right.
information.
No, it was
Okay.
it was
Shoe
the
talk.
whole
It was
like
a cultural discussion.
cultural and then like the whole mentality of like people's lifestyles around shoes. So yes, it was a deep conversation.
It was very exposing.
My feet
I will
feel
never look at
embarrassed.
certain people the same way anymore.
Are you talking to Joey right now, Gary?
Maybe.
Oh man.
Man, you really opened your own can of worms on this one, Joey.
Mm-hmm. Joe, you can't say that stuff to
Yeah,
Asians.
well, I'm definitely gonna leave my couch plastic on the couch when he comes over.
Mhm.
That's racist.
No shoes on my couch.
That's fine. I understand. I would rather you like put down plastic and allow me to wear my shoes than make me take my shoes off.
Okay, we'll get like a Dexter killing room kind of.
Oh no.
Yeah, just like plaster the floor
Yeah.
with like the plastic like tarp.
No, the
Yeah.
secret is you get like the fly paper and you just put that on the bottom of the person's shoes.
Okay, so-
And then
okay,
just
man,
rip it
step
off
on
when you're done.
Nice.
Boom.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like the booties better.
Yeah.
Disposable.
The booties would be
Booties.
funny. Anyhow, sorry.
We have those at my work for
Nice.
people who don't have slip-ons.
Nice.
Wait, for people who don't have what?
Like slip-on shoes.
Wait,
'Cause-
slip on shoes.
Not slip-on shoes.
Non-slip.
Slip resistant. Yeah,
Oh, slip
non-slip.
resistant.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I feel
Uh,
like that would make more slippery.
Depends on what kind of slip-on booties, I guess.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
not fabric,
they-
right?
No, it's like rubber.
Right.
Oh, okay, that makes
Like
sense.
a rubber. I don't know what kind of material, but you can just put it on your normal shoes, like over your normal shoes, and they become non-slip.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Before
how
we
about
actually
gaming
reach
news, Joey?
yeah,
Yeah.
before we get to actual 20 minutes of shoes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're done with the shoe talk. We got to move on to the news. So we were going to talk about some things that were like upcoming. There was going to be a Sony event on Thursday. I believe Madden, the new Madden, was going to get shown. There was supposed to be a Cyberpunk thing. Everything's been delayed. This has been in response to showing solidarity with the protests that are happening here in the United States in response to the killing of George Floyd. I want to say us here at Phat Peeps support the protests, and I genuinely hope that real meaningful change comes out of this.
Yeah.
Because the system's been messed up for a long time, and it needs to change.
I will
So-
I will point out
Absolutely.
we support the non-violent protests.
Right? Yeah. Obviously, like if you're like out
Yeah, if
there
you're violent,
rioting,
you're not
and
protesting.
Don't
at that
burn
point.
people's
Right,
faces
exactly.
down or like
don't steal
loot.
people's stuff,
Yeah,
because
Well,
that doesn't.
stores and
just-
shit. Like,
You're
come on.
not
Just to
You're not-
clarify, there's a difference
Yeah,
between
protesting
protesters and
and
looters.
looters.
exactly.
Yes.
There is.
Exactly.
That's true.
And the problem is everybody is just clumping them together. The
Yeah.
media is doing it, and it's kind of annoying. And
Yeah, it
it's
is.
kind of
Yeah.
diminishing the whole purpose of why people are protesting. So
And that
Right.
is a freedom that we have in the States, is the right to protest and speak
Yep.
our opinions. So
Absolutely.
Yep. So 100% to them. Keep fighting the good fight, and yeah. So yeah,
Awesome love.
I guess we can go ahead and move on to some news now.
Hmm.
Actually, we were going to start off with impressions, but we'll move that to the bottom, and we'll just rock right into news. But news about Minecraft Dungeons, which is what we'll give our impressions on later. So it came out recently. Came out on like the 24th or something like that.
26th, I believe.
Yeah.
26.
Minecraft ARPG, similar to something like Diablo. They already announced that there's DLC coming for it in July.
Aye.
Wow, so fast.
Right, so fast.
It makes it seem like they
ju-
purposely kept some levels out for
Right?
us just to say.
oh wow,
Kind of weird. It
Yeah.
like kind of harkens back to those days of like on disc DLC, where it's like, hey guys,
Don't
was this
insult
content
my
ready?
intelligence.
Well, but it's like, was this content ready to go, and then
And
you just
just-
like chose to not put it in the base game?
Right.
And who knows? Like that might not be the case.
Yeah.
But you know, and we'll get to it later. Considering how short the game is,
Mhm.
it makes you wonder if
Yeah.
like maybe that stuff should
Trying to-
have been in
Trying
the
to
base
sell those
game.
battle passes.
Especially for
man.
what,
Uh,
30
Mhm.
bucks?
or whatever it's called.
No, I think it's cheaper than that. I think it's only $20. It's $30 if you buy the like Hero Edition.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that comes with the
but
box.
John, you looked at this. Did you what areas is it adding?
Oh, it's adding a jungle. It's going to be 3 missions set in the jungle.
Only
Oh,
Okay,
3?
so just 3.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I mean, the base game only
but-
has
I
like what,
mean,
like 6 or 10 or something
Yeah,
like that.
the
I
base
can't remember.
game has like 7 or 8, I think.
That's
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
It's
it
not
is-
really that
it's
many.
Not that many.
Like actual missions, like you physically walk through 7 levels.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much replay every map. That's like the
PJ, I
game,
was gonna
isn't it?
say we've almost beaten the game.
Are you
Like I'm
shitting
pretty
me?
sure.
Yeah, in our playthrough.
What?
At least
I'm
the
pretty
story content.
sure we
Not story content. Should we just talk about our experience with it?
yeah, we're already talking about
I
it.
guess. I
Yeah.
guess we might as well just go into Minecraft. All right, news is being postponed. We're talking about Minecraft Dungeon impressions. All right,
Ah!
so I'm gonna start. I like it a lot. I think
Yeah.
it has some like clear issues, but I think there's a lot of stuff there that is fun and neat. I think my main gripe with it is that everything about your build is tied to your items,
Yeah.
which is both a kind of cool thing, but also a annoying thing because it
Yeah, like I'm trying to
it-
get a drop and all that's dropping is the same thing.
Right.
And you're like,
It, like,
fuck.
it kind of promotes experimentation because you're like getting new stuff all the time. But that experimentation only really happens in the early game.
Right. like the first level.
And then I pretty quickly found like towards the end of the regular, like not even like the harder difficulty modes, just the regular like normal difficulty campaign, kind of having to have a like refined build. So like you kind of like lose the ability to do that experimentation because you like lock yourself down. And then also with the way the enchantments work, you get like enchantments on level up, so you only have so many enchantment points to work with, and you can only spend those enchantments on essentially like one set of gear, right? So you can't, if you want to try a different thing out, you have to destroy what you've been using and like commit.
But it
And I
doesn't
don't
give you the
think,
points back.
yes, it does.
It does?
We found out
Okay.
that it
Yeah,
does.
we did.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but each item has its own like preset enchantment you can add to it, right?
Right.
So
No,
technically,
so those are randomly rolled.
Oh.
okay. So every time you pick it up,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
So that's kind of where the gameplay loop is in the
Yeah,
end
so
game
just
that I think
trying to find
is
that
going to be
perfect
trying to
weapon
find the perfect weapon with the
enchantment.
perfect enchantment rolls,
Yeah.
and getting like the perfect gear set all set out. So like I see the end game. It's just like I think that the process of going through the early game is a little bit dulled by the fact that, like, unlike something like Diablo, you're very quickly just being given abilities, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And you can mix and match between things, and they like um, really change the gameplay up, right, in like meaningful ways. Whereas like early game Minecraft Dungeons is like, all right, I got a better knife, so it does more damage when I hit guys. And I got, oh, this bow shoots 3 arrows instead of just 1 arrow. Neat. You know what I mean? But then when you start getting into the late game, and you start kind of figuring out like different artifacts and the way they interact with different things, you can start getting some kind of cool builds going on. So like the build that I'm running right now, I think is really, really neat. And it like involves a synergy between a specific artifact and a enchantment on a particular weapon. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Very nice.
There's a lot of stuff that I'm a little disappointed with on the game. It's cool. It's pretty, but
it's baby's first
so-
Diablo.
yeah, but it still could have had more.
I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
will say it's fun. It's really fun from a just a simple like let's jump in and hit stuff and like
Yeah.
get new weapons,
I
right?
like how chill it was. Very relaxed.
And as we go deeper into the game, because the thing about it too is as you unlock the harder difficulties, new you unlock new weapons and like better enchantments and stuff like that. So like there's stuff in the game that you guys haven't even seen yet that is like way cooler than the stuff that we've seen so far.
Yeah, Joey's had more game hours.
Yeah, I've
than us.
played quite a bit of it. I'm level like 35 or something like that.
Oh wow.
I played for a good hour today,
Nice.
and
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was good. I really like it.
Yeah.
But I'm new to the whole playing games all the time,
But
and I need something simple like this.
Yeah, it's
And
perfect.
I think that that's what it's good for, in that like something like Diablo, or like God forbid you get somebody to play Path of Exile, like it's just like way too much. There's like way too much going on in terms of like numbers and stats and like what do I want to have rolled on my gear? Like what is good for this character? You know what I mean? Whereas like
Mhm.
I think the redeeming thing about Minecraft Dungeons is it's just jump in and play in the same, and it feels very much like an Xbox Live arcade game, right? Where it's kind of like just a like top down dungeon crawler with some light loot elements, that you can play with your friends.
Yeah, you don't
Mhm.
have
And
to
it's
over plan everything. It just you just jump right in, you catch on really quickly, and
Ooh, new
it's
tool. Let's check it out.
it's simple fun, I guess, is
Yeah.
if you can
Very
sum it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I like it a lot. So another thing, I want to jump over PJ. I feel like you had something more to say about it.
No, I
Yeah.
I enjoy it for what it is. I don't think it's worth the $20. I would
Right.
only play it through the Xbox Game Pass. That's it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I think it's $20 maybe a little high for it. I think
If
it's maybe a
you
little
got
bit better suited to
everything
be
that
in the
they
10 to 15 range.
yeah,
Mhm.
or 5. It's
I don't know about 5. 5 is kind of cheap. I think there's more. I think there's more to it than
I
that.
gotta play more for me to be able to say
Yeah.
more about it. It's just maybe I was expecting too much out of it. I don't know.
I mean, I thought you liked loot kind of based kind of.
I do, but this to me doesn't.
Stuff.
It
Okay,
doesn't feel
fine.
like that. It literally just
guess,
feels like I'm
right.
running through level. It feels like Gauntlet more than it feels like a Diablo.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I will agree with you. Like the earlier stages are much more like Gauntlet-esque. Like we're just gonna run through and hit things, and it isn't until like you get to the higher difficulties that you're kind of like, okay, I'm like hunting for gear with specific enchantments, and you kind of get more of that loot hunting out of it.
The only thing else.
And it's sometimes you're.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go for it. Well, it's like sometimes when you set up your loot. I mean, your class, I guess you'd call it. It's like it doesn't really fit that at least boss situation. Like when we were playing Joey, you had the
True.
souls build, which you have to collect souls, but the boss didn't drop any souls, so it's like
So
you have to like
I
balance that.
got a sword that has a chance on hit to make souls.
Oh, so that can
So
offset that
now,
problem.
so it offsets that problem, yeah, because it'll just make souls without me killing
I was
things.
about to say, so that enchantment item that collects the souls and creates that laser beam, it gave me 1000% Gauntlet feeling, because I remember there's like a sword. I think it was either a sword guy or maybe a sorcerer in the original Gauntlet that did that same like laser beam shooting out thing.
Yeah.
That was
It
really fun.
always makes me
Yeah.
happy whenever I see that. It's like
Yeah, that was fun. That really added some excitement to my loins.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I like the game.
I
like it a
It's a
lot.
great game. It's just not. It's not.
I do
everything
I do like
expected.
that comparison, PJ. Gauntlet is
Yeah, that's okay.
It's probably the
is a
closest
great
comparison.
description.
Right.
But
Yeah.
see, that's the thing. Like Gauntlet is very arcadey. Minecraft Dungeons is very arcadey, and it's definitely uh, like a step away from the normal. You have to normal sense where you have to think about each build that you're putting into it, what you're gonna buy, what you're gonna level up and
Right.
stuff.
It's less
Whereas
try hardy than
l-
PoE
Yeah.
yeah,
or Diablo.
it takes like 5 seconds to decide what you need to do next,
Right.
and I like it. It's
Yeah.
fast.
You jump in, you're like, do I like this sword or do I like this glaive?
Mhm.
Do I like this enchantment? Do I like this artifact or this artifact? Like, you're basically just making those choices. Whereas, like, it's not. Every time you pick up an item in Diablo, you're like looking at it and you're like, all right, do I want this? Is this good?
I hate that. I hate
And
that
also,
sense.
so for people who aren't used to kind of Diablo-esque kind of games, Minecraft Dungeons is a good foot in the door if you want to try it out, and
Yeah.
then you can graduate to more hardcore games like Diablo.
Or even worse, you get into Path of Exile.
Oh, no.
PoE.
Or
I'll
not
never
like
go back
me.
to PoE. That game's
So-
so too deep. Like,
Yeah, PoE is kind of crazy. I have like 100 and something hours in it, and I
So
don't know if I like it.
so much min maxing in that game.
I do not like
Uh,
maxing games.
So the kind of I will say some of the criticisms I have. I really don't think Minecraft Dungeons capitalizes on the like brand enough.
I don't fully
Um,
feel like I'm playing a Minecraft game.
Yeah, like it's neat, I guess, to see like the Minecraft enemies, but like and it might just be like the environments, but like it just like I don't know.
Maybe it's
And
because
like
we didn't play story
I've
mode.
seen a lot of
we didn't grow up with story
Yeah,
mode,
maybe.
'cause
But
I think that
there's
helps.
also a lot of like things like there's no like block deformation, right? Like
Right,
the
you're not really
TNT,
mining
like
or
creepers and
crafting.
stuff don't
Yeah.
like. It's just like the environment is very static
Right.
in a
Right.
way that you wouldn't expect from Minecraft, which is a very dynamic game.
Right.
Yeah, it'd
Right.
be nice to see that kind of stuff.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, you could replace the environments and the characters with anything, and like,
Yeah, it
you know,
can be original IP or something.
and it's funny too because like or at least I haven't seen certain enemies yet that like there's like a lot of iconic Minecraft stuff
Hmm.
that's not in the game.
Yeah, so
You know?
the of course the DLC they're gonna introduce stuff like new enemies like uh poison quill vine. Okay, maybe these aren't. I think never mind. I was just reading.
Yeah.
Jungle zombies, leap leaf. I don't know
Wow.
what those are. Yeah. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say they're gonna add more of those iconic zombies or enemies. Maybe they will, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's one thing where I don't know
But
if
I
it's
would like
really
to
capitalizing enough.
see them bring some of the stuff they have in dungeons into Minecraft.
So
That
that
would be
was
really
what I
cool.
was just about to jump to, where it's like playing it and seeing like all the different weapons and
Yeah.
stuff really makes you wish that they would like do a like combat overhaul to Minecraft.
Yeah.
And like I'm not entirely sure that the game is designed in a way where it could really even ever support that. But like man, like it let's say theoretically they were to do Minecraft 2,
Hmm.
like
Add some
the height of the priorities for Minecraft 2 is like make better dungeons, make loot, make combat better.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yes.
but I mean, like in a lot of the artifacts, totally could just be added to regular Minecraft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that laser beam thing, they could just add that, and you could use it in your inventory and then shoot a
Yeah.
laser beam.
I mean, it kind of is already. It's just
I think that's in
it's
the
like
modded series.
no, it's a corrupted version of it already. What is it called? Beacon. It's a corrupted beacon. Beacon's already in the game. Somehow make it get corrupted and you can shoot laser beams out of it, or add souls, like collecting souls to power stuff up.
That's true.
That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody have any closing thoughts on Minecraft Dungeons?
No, it's pretty cool, I guess.
I don't mind playing it again. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
like
we're definitely gonna
playing
play it again. Yeah,
I'm
Definitely fun.
definitely gonna play a lot
yeah,
more
it's
of it.
definitely like a relaxing game.
I want to see it to its end game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I kind of want to see where it goes in terms of like builds and stuff like that. So I'm curious about it. Okay. News.
Who's that
News.
Pokemon?
So they announced today that the first expansion for Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Isle of Armor, will be released on June 17th.
Oh
That's
wow.
very soon.
Armor.
So what does that encapsulate?
So
Like
let me
Island,
see
right?
if I can pull it up. But
The
yeah,
new
so it's going to have a
Isles.
whole new area. It's going to have some new Pokemon, of course. It didn't really look like there were very many like brand new Pokemon.
It's like
There's
5.
new Alolan forms of legendaries from their first generation.
Right,
Oh
yeah.
no,
So
they're gonna have Silver Oho.
Oh.
what?
No.
No.
First generation. Oh, was the second generation. Come
I'm
on.
kidding.
God, jeez,
Let me
Peach.
see if I can
Ah,
find it real quick.
uncultured.
I know. Ah.
I'm gonna look up to see if I can
Also,
find stuff that has all the new stuff.
gigantic mechs for their 3 starters, which they I'm sorry, I just don't like.
Oh
Max.
right, so yeah, they're adding a Gigantamax for Venusaur
What the hell is a
and
Gigantamax?
Blastoise.
That sounds like a
It's
really
So
big
gigantic.
tampon.
It's
So
yeah,
Ooh.
pretty
Alright.
much.
It's explanation time of new gameplay gimmicks.
Gimmicks, yep.
Dynamaxing.
Cap
In the middle of combat, you can Dynamax a Pokemon. and
Kaiju
they will
file.
Are you-
grow in
Are you
size
jerking off
for
a
3
Pokemon?
turns. No.
No.
Why? Okay.
You
So
trained them the kaijus. That's pretty
it's
much it.
basically like
Wow.
mega forms, but not mega forms because you can do it to every single Pokemon, except for Pokemon that can Gigantamax,
What
which
the fuck?
is
Don't worry about it.
different than
Don't worry about it.
Dynamaxing. Pokemon
You're
that
laughing because you
Gigantamax,
know
Keyword.
how stupid it is.
it's
Keyword, you
effectively
gimmick.
Dynamaxing, but they take on a new form. Is this basically Mega Pokemon?
Yes. Yes, it is.
You know,
Is
that's
this
for you to decide.
basically bad naming conventions? Definitely.
No, it's pretty much a Game Freak was like, we need a new gimmick so people will
We
buy our
need
new
a new
game.
gimmick.
Dynamaxing?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
Dynamaxing.
it's bad.
Who the hell
it's
walked
bad.
in there fucking 3 o'clock in the afternoon drunk as a fucking fish, just walks over to the board, Dynamax, our new
I mean, it's a
thing.
cool idea because
What if Pikachu
was giant
but big
and
Pikachu?
fat because he's a kaiju. So
What the? Okay.
man.
But this is beside
more
the point. We're
context
talking
on
about
that.
like the base Sword and Shield stuff, and admittedly, like it doesn't really affect the game, right?
Why put it
Yeah,
in
Like
there?
a gimmick again.
well,
selling
because
point.
it's a gimmick,
Yeah, it's a
right?
bullet point
So
for the
like
selling.
the little children are like, "Oh, baby,
I can
need an old
Dynamax
Charizard."
too!
Wow.
Oh
Yeah,
my
exactly.
God.
But for like your
Red
like
Rocket.
regular players, they don't like care.
Yeah,
It's just a
I
thing. And some people might care because like some of the Gigantamax forms are kind of neat.
I mean, yeah,
But-
they introduce new and cool designs. So there's that. But most
Yeah.
of them look garbage to me right now. The new ones at
Yeah,
least.
a lot of them are kind of dumb.
Okay, I was all
Like-
on board with this whole entire like expansion for that, but now I'm not. I'm jumping
Yeah,
off that train real quick. Like,
Well, I was Well, Joey bought the game. So Sword and Shield was going to be the Pokemon game I got because like it's coming to a new console. You know, it's going to be the first time Pokemon's ever
You
been
almost got a
on a
Switch?
console. I almost got to switch for Pokemon,
damn.
Oh,
and
wow.
then they pulled this BS. I don't want to reiterate what happened, but pretty much Game Freak did a whole. We're just gonna make another console. I mean, another handheld game on a console, and I'm like,
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm done with Game Freaks. Like, it's just the same
I'm tired of your bullshit.
form.
Game
Yeah,
Freak.
I'm tired. It's the same formula
Yeah.
they do every time, but with a stupid new gimmick. So I didn't buy.
I might
Pokemon
still get it.
so
I
much.
feel like Sarah and I would enjoy it.
Eh.
We still gotta
So,
get her
like,
to play
on-
a Pokemon game though.
Oh no.
I play Pokemon Go.
Honestly,
No, that doesn't count.
Yeah,
We need
yeah,
a
it's different.
classic Pokemon Game
So-
Freak game.
So for like as disappointing you might say Pokemon Sword and Shield is, even though like honestly, I like it, but
Yeah, I like it.
like it's fine.
Yeah. Also, I'm just
fine.
tired of.
It's a
that-
Pokemon game.
Yeah. I'm tired of the Pokemon game. Like if they don't bring anything new to the table, then I'm like I'm just not
God, well,
interested
why
in,
don't you go
know,
play
playing.
Digimon?
That's true, yeah.
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 Gosh.
Or
Is-
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh God, card games. Oh jeez.
Oh.
But what's new in the expansion?
So you go to a new area,
Okay,
the Isle of Armor. There's new like
gonna guess that.
kind of sub legendary, I believe they're called,
yeah, the little cute bear thing.
called Cub Fu.
Like kung fu, but a cub. Got it. I got it.
Yeah, he evolves. So like kind of the way you evolve him is, you do like a dungeon with
Sounds
him,
kinky.
and then depending
Oh,
on
my.
which one you do, it affects which Gigantamax
If you go
form
to
his
the
evolved form.
BDSM dungeon,
Okay, so I'm not.
Oh no.
Oh no.
And he evolves into
Joey,
your
the X, the
your
XL.
Shufu.
Big sigh.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Anyway,
Your Shufu?
Urshifu, I'm pretty
Urshifu.
sure is the
I
evolved form.
'Cause
There's also Galarian forms of the original 3 legendary birds.
Also, I see new Reggies. That's weird.
So okay, that's
I
not
don't
in
get
this
it.
expansion.
Oh, that's not in that one.
New
Okay.
Reggie.
Right.
Reggies.
So that's in the next
The old
expansion.
CEO of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
What the fuck's going on right now?
Don't worry about
mostly
it.
it's
Pokemon
mostly
talk,
it's just in Isle of Armor, a new
Yeah.
area. The new area, I should point out, is entirely a wild area,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
to
Ish,
explain like the wild areas
Right.
in Pokemon Sword and
It's the ones
Shield.
that go. "Doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle."
No.
No,
Oh, wow.
so that's
Oh.
like any area that
Yeah.
has like grass or whatever,
Grass.
right?
Do, do,
So
do, do.
there's a distinction between a route in the wild area,
Mhm.
right? Routes
Right.
are linear paths that just like connect
like your
city to city, right?
OG Pokemon kind of
Yeah.
routes. Yeah.
The wild area
That's where
is
Alyssa
just
Carlton
a
is.
open world like space
Mhm.
that you can roam around in.
Kinda
Only
like
Sarah
Breath of the
liked that
Wild.
joke.
Oh, yeah,
So it's basically like kind of implementing like open world stuff
Yeah.
without going full open world. And I think that there was a interview around the time that Sword and Shield was announced where they were talking about how like they wanted to do more open world elements, but they were a little bit hesitant to like go all in on it.
Mhm.
So they were going to do this like wild area and see how the response to it is. And I think that considering that both the two DLCs take place in game spaces that are entirely wild areas, I think is setting precedent that like the next Pokemon game is probably going to be open world.
It better be, because that's why I wanted to.
Right, and I think that's what players
Wanted- yeah, that's
expected
what I expected.
from a like console Pokemon
Yeah,
game.
you have all
right?
that processing power to have a giant open world.
Right. And it's like when you compare Breath of the Wild to Sword and Shield, right? Like
Yeah.
a game like Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U,
Mm-hmm.
which, you know, isn't that much like weaker than like it's relative to the same power level as like the Switch, but like the point remains, like Breath of the Wild exists. And like Pokemon like it feels unoptimized in
Yeah.
like the level of like character pop in and like the draw distances
And
and
just really
like
poor animations when there are animations.
right.
It's just
And
like-
it's I don't understand why it's like that.
I feel like there's so much
Well,
thought
yeah.
that you guys put into the Pokemon games. I just pick up Pokemon
Well, yeah,
and I'm
'cause
like,
it-
a Pokemon!
Well,
Pokemon-
yeah,
Wow. New
It's like I've
adventure.
invested
that's the
so
thing. It's
much
like
into
there is
the
an element.
series.
There is an element of like you can just play a Pokemon game and have a good time
Yeah.
with it, right?
Yeah.
Like Sword Shield is a good game. Like I would tell people to get Sword and Shield. It's a good, fun
Reviews,
video
Joey,
game.
Reviews.
But at the same time, when you look at like the video game landscape that we
Mhm.
exist in today's day and age,
And,
and then you look at and then you think about the potential of
Yeah.
Pokemon.
and Pokemon is not a small franchise. It's Game Freak
It's
is not a
the
small
biggest
company.
franchise. It is literally the
Right.
biggest
They should
franchise.
be able to pump in more money. I feel like they do pump
Right,
in more money, but just
and
more creativity and like just
That's the thing is the
everything in it.
question
Why
is
do that?
like
Why do that when
Yeah.
people buy
pumping
it
just
regardless?
throwing
Yeah.
right exactly why
Yeah.
put money into it when it's just going to sell
Just
gangbusters.
Look at the target audience. It's not us. It's children.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately, sorry guys. I
And
know
then-
it's our childhood,
But children
Yeah.
play,
did grow up.
Breath of the Wild.
No,
and that's
but
a
John,
fantastic
think of it
game.
this way.
Well-
By the time that the generation that's playing Pokemon now moves on, they'll get 3 games out of the current generation of kids, and then the next generation comes up, they'll get 3 games out of
Yeah.
them. It's just
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter. Why change the
But
formula? when
that's
people
the
are
thing. It's like
And the
why?
thing about it is it's the age has been scaling up
right.
Yeah.
because like at like the people who played it when they were like 12 when it came out in 1999 are 32,
Oh my god.
right? And it's
Yeah.
and
What happened
like
to
that
them?
goes
So low.
goes down, the line where I would argue that like a majority of Pokemon fans are probably more in like the 18 to 34 bracket than they are in the like younger bracket. Because I don't know about Pokemon, but like personally, from like what I've seen from children, they care more about Fortnite and Roblox than they do about Pokemon.
I feel like
Yeah.
Pokemon's
Like
a big-
Pokemon doesn't seem to be as big of a like staple franchise with
I think it's a
the like real
recognizable.
young children.
Yeah,
It's
just
recognizable.
That's it though, for at least little. I
But
think for little
can
kids.
we
Yeah.
say that though? Because Fortnite just gets more PR compared to Pokemon. We don't, because Pokemon is
True.
typically
I
a
guess that's
single-player
fair. And
game.
I'm actually just speaking from my personal experience with children
Well, let me tell you.
that I know in my life.
Let me tell you this because I work
Look.
at a company that sells that stuff, like branded on shirts. Pokemon has been consistently a thing every year that
Oh
I
yeah,
see
no, it's
a lot of for
Sure,
kids.
yeah.
yeah, it's a fantastic brand just because it's cute creatures for every there's a creature for every
But
kid. Doesn't
Fortnite's
necessarily
falling out.
translate.
I'm not seeing Fortnite toys
right,
anymore.
right.
I'm not seeing Fortnite shirts as much anymore. The underwear and everything. I still see a shit ton of Pokemon toys and everything.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I see what you mean.
Okay.
Fortnite is a trend.
Right.
Yeah.
Pokemon is a culture.
Right.
Now, when you're at the register, who do you see buying those Pokemon toys?
It's usually kids.
People our age too.
Okay.
I know.
Pretty much everyone, PJ. I think it's
Yeah, I think it's
everyone.
everyone.
It is to
But
an
that's what-
extent, but like,
But like that's why the franchise is the biggest franchise.
Right.
You know,
right?
you've
Because
done
it has
well.
that cross age appeal.
Yeah, exactly.
Where
you know
even
you've
if
done
you're
well
a-
when
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
No, basically, like you have that whole age bracket of like adults to children, and they all love it and want to buy merchandise.
Right.
So, but to like jump back to the games, I think part of the issue is that they're on really, really strict development cycles. Like they have to bang these things out
Hot.
like once a year.
Right.
Right.
You gotta make what's here?
There's got to be a new Pokemon game every year, pretty
okay.
much.
It's pretty
not like
close,
new
yeah.
Pokemon, but like pretty much
Just
yeah,
a
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Like remakes and stuff
So-
or whatever.
Yeah, even
Right,
remakes
right,
and
right.
stuff,
Got it,
right?
yeah.
But so I feel like it really hinders their ability to make any meaningful change to the franchise because they don't have
Right.
they don't have
Also,
enough development time to sit there and really make that meaningful
Yeah.
change.
But I also feel like this the people running the company, I forgot which one. He was talking about how he like lost faith with handheld devices and consoles, and how he believed that mobile games were the future, which is why he didn't put that much effort into the new Pokemon games. I forgot who that was, but
Yeah,
I think it's also how the companies ran too. They don't have faith
true.
in
And
features
it's kind
being-
of like the thing is it's like a 4-way or like a 3-way kind of joint thing because
Right.
it's like Game
Game
Freak is the
Freak,
development
yeah,
company
they got
and
the
they have like a
Pokemon
stake
company.
in the franchise,
Yeah.
but then there's like the Pokemon company, which is its own entity.
Yep,
And then there's
Nintendo.
Nintendo, who also has a stake in it.
So it's also
like
how the companies ran too.
it's
kind
this
of,
weird like love triangle of corporate business
Yeah.
that I think in a lot of ways prevents
right.
evolution,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
And it's funny because the game's all about evolving your Pokemon, but you won't evolve your
Um,
gameplay or game.
But who knows? Like I said, with the Sword and Shield announcement, or like with the DLCs and their kind of approach of focusing on the open world space.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully that
It
means.
seems like they're dipping the toes in. They just don't want to risk it.
And also
It's kind of sad.
there hasn't been any Pokemon announced for this year. Right? There's just the DLC, and the DLC is being worked on by a side
Right.
team, not like the main
Yeah.
development team,
so
right?
we might see something
So,
bigger come out later.
Yeah, maybe we're saying like them put more time into it. Because like, there was a significant backlash to
Mhm.
Sword and
Oh
Shield.
yeah. Oh,
Regardless of how well it sold, like the game has a negative like sentiment about it
Yeah.
online
Yeah.
that
see
it
how
can't really shake.
Yeah.
So-
See how much that worked.
TDLR is new DLC, has new area,
New area,
BDSM,
new legendary Pokemon.
Couple new
dungeon,
Pokemon.
and then Kinky Teddy Bear. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hot.
There's also like
Yeah.
a bunch of new there's a bunch of returning Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like obviously part of the issue with Sword and Shield was it didn't have all the Pokemon. Isle of Armor is going to be adding a lot of those Pokemon back in, and
Oh, that was part of the
you-
controversy too.
you-
The Dexit.
you
Yeah.
get those Pokemon even if you don't have the DLC.
Wow.
So, or I should say, so like you can't catch them, right? Because you
Right.
can't go to the DLC area where they exist, but
Huh.
they can be
Eh,
traded to you, and you can like get them on the.
Interesting, because I'm pretty sure certain developers on the team said that they couldn't bring past Pokemon just because the game was so big or something like that.
No, they didn't. They didn't say that. They said
Oh, the
that
animation quality or something like that.
the animations, it
Mhm.
would take too much time to work on all the animations, and they would have had to delay the game for a significant amount of time.
Even though they're using the same animations as the past games, but all right.
I don't want
have
to
a
get
lot
too
of
deep into
salt.
that,
I
but
have a lot of
I
salt with
actually
Game Freak.
I don't want to get too deep into that, but there's rumors about that apparently the engine that they like converted the files into forked all of them, and they all had to be like manually redone.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Hmm.
yeah, probably
Possibly.
like a technical like mistake on their end that
Yeah.
shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they were lying.
Yeah. Well, they should have been upfront about that, but yeah.
Yeah,
Or
maybe you're
secretive
right.
about it.
Maybe they should have just been like, hey, we messed up. But,
Whoopsies.
corporations like to be more like hush hush about things like that. All right, let's move on from the Pokemon talk. I'm excited
Pokemon
about
Corner,
that.
the
But
Pokemon
we'll get to
Corner.
something that TJ is very excited about.
What? PJ,
Hell
what are you
yeah.
excited about?
Wow.
Dontnod Entertainment opens Montreal studio to work on new project.
That's in
Oh,
Canada.
I just want another
Wow.
Remember Me.
Oh, it's not going to be that.
No, I
Do you
know,
think that's
but I
possible?
want something similar to that. I want them to use the like recoding memory mechanism that they used in that game. I don't care about the combat or any of that shit. That's just very run of the mill basic crap. That rerun memory stuff that they did in that game to me was something so different and amazing that needs to be recaptured in some way. If they could put that into a new game and make that mostly the game, I'd be more than stoked.
So, I want you to tell me a little bit. What about Remember Me makes it stand out so much to you?
What was that?
Yeah,
It's the
remind us.
recode sequences. Like, so just going in there, you watch the sequence and you're like, oh shit, that. And they're always dramatic things. Like, one of them is your character in the car with her mom and getting into a car accident. And so,
no.
like, the choices that the mom makes that you control once that you're rewinding their memory, uh, affects what happens, whether the girl dies, like your character, whether the mom dies, whether the teddy bear that the little girl has like gets ripped up. It's
Wow.
just little things like that, and it's cool to see like, okay, I moved the cell phone just far enough away from the mom's face for her to be able to see it to where it doesn't light up and the mom doesn't look over and get into a car accident. It's just like,
Wait, is that time travel? Wait,
it's
what
not
is
time
this?
travel, so
It's like
recoding your
manipulation.
yeah, it's recoding memories. That way, events don't happen the way that they do.
Oh, so this is a lie.
Oh,
you're
wow.
just lying to this person.
So what
You're
it does,
recoding.
yeah, kind of. What
Okay.
what you're
That's interesting, actually.
doing? So the whole concept of the game is it's a future dystopian society where people like are able to sell their minds and stuff like that, and like I don't know, like I don't remember the plot heavily, but I remember those sequences very much so, and they stuck in my head, and that's why I'm saying that gameplay needs to be brought somewhere else, whether it's a full game of just doing that kind of stuff, or
They did same developers as Life is Strange, right? So they
Yeah.
kind of have the same
This
kind of rewind time.
kind
and
of, but
change
that's like
things.
one aspect of it. It's
Right.
very very small. They brought that over, and they did try doing it, but they did it differently. Like it's a dialogue choice. Whereas in
Right.
this game, it's going and actually moving physical objects to change the outcome. Like I said on a previous podcast, there's a gun on a table.
Right.
If you hide the gun, it changes the way someone dies, or like it changes someone from being dead to being alive. It's very interesting.
Cool.
I'd recommend checking it out. I might even go back and replay it on either for one of our YouTube videos, maybe as a let's play or something like that. Because I'm intrigued to go back and relive the storyline.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that studio is like really into that kind of time manipulation kind of thing. So it would be
They do
cool
it
to
well.
see.
They do it
Yeah,
really well,
cool to
and
see
they're
what they do
very good
next.
storytellers. All
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
oh yeah, Life is Strange is fantastic.
I don't know Vampire though. That's the only one that I
I
haven't
was
played.
watching some game footage of it. And it looks really interesting. I kind of want to check it out.
So
So, currently, they have 2 games in development.
Uh-huh.
Tell Me Why, which is a
Yeah.
collaboration with Microsoft.
Oh, okay. I was like, tell
Oh,
me
why
why they're
not?
making. Wait, what?
No, that's the
Why?
kid.
Got
The
it.
game
Okay,
is
got it.
called Tell Me
Tell
Why.
me why. Got it. Okay.
I think it was announced at the. Oh, maybe it wasn't. I remember seeing it during a Microsoft event thing.
Yeah.
But it's in collaboration with Microsoft. That looks like it's definitely more of the Life is Strange kind
right.
of like narrative focused type of deal. Then they also have another one being worked on called Twin Mirror, which
Ooh.
is
Ooh.
I believe being published by Bandai
Oh.
Namco. Yes.
When
It's like a
you
mystery
are-
game.
Okay.
I think it might. I don't know. It says players will assume the role of Sam, a 33-year-old investigative journalist who suffered a harsh breakup he's desperately
no.
trying to overcome, returning home to Barry, an old friend. So that one sounds like it's going to be more of a like maybe psychological, like investigation thriller, right? So I
Yeah.
think that there's room in like their docket for a more like action based game like Remember Me.
Oh yeah, I'm skimming through the gameplay trailer. It definitely looks like what you described as like kind of the objects and you're moving it and stuff like that.
yeah,
So-
like if you look through the recode sequences, you'll sit there and you'll go, "This is crazy," but for some reason it's fun to watch and do.
Yeah. Cool.
The trailer for Twin Mirror is kind of giving me some Heavy Rain vibes almost.
Yeah. You're like waking up and doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's very all over the place, kind of a mind fuck game, but uh, yeah, I'm excited. They're a very
Yeah.
good game company.
Yeah, I like what they do.
So
I like it a lot.
intrigued to see what
Yeah,
will
very
come
cool.
from them.
Yeah, exciting. It's cool to see them grow over time. Starting off as I remember when they put out Remember Me, and it was kind of like, who is this studio? Like, what is this?
Well, and it's funny too
And
because
then-
Remember Me was so like everyone was excited about it, and then it just got such bad reviews, it died instantly. But it got
Yeah.
bad reviews because of its very bland combat system. But no,
It was kind of just a boring third-person action game.
kind of, and
But-
the combos were a little convoluted for what it was. But I don't know, there was a charm about it. The
I
aesthetics
think that's
were nice.
why. You think that's why the studio kind of went on to more kind of cinematic, kind of what's it called dialogue
Possibly.
choice.
Possibly,
dialogue
but
tree type
the
things?
I think they stuck with their strong points. Even Remember Me has a very
Yeah.
strong story, but it's
Yeah, they
not,
just found they took what they did
Yeah, they're really
right
good
and then
storytellers,
focused
right.
on it.
right. And I hope that they try again with action, because I think they have it. They have the potential. It's just they didn't do it right with Remember Me 100%. Wasn't bad.
Yeah. And considering this is like a brand new team and they're hiring brand new people on,
Right. Yeah.
they might be hiring specifically people who have experience working on action titles.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It didn't feel bad. That's all I'm gonna say about that game is it did not feel bad. It just felt, and it didn't feel clunky. It was just very repetitive, and that's not a bad thing if it works.
all right. Let's jump on to the next one real quick. Last of Us Part 2, State of Play,
Big long.
shown by Sony.
long
How long was it? It was like 40 minutes, right?
No,
Yeah.
it's 22 or 23.
20 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that long.
What am I thinking about this? Anyway, but yeah,
Cool.
it's pretty long. It has actual
Yeah, that's how you
gameplay.
show gameplay, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, Sony knows how to do it right.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were very coy with story details. over the course of the presentation. They focus primarily on kind of like the basic setup of the plot, and then really focused heavily on like how you're going to play the game. It's The Last of Us. You know, you're sneaking around, you're crafting things, and then using those things to kill dudes. It's super violent, like,
Lot of
and not
stabby
in
stabby.
the, not in the like, not in the like Mortal Kombat, like, ha ha, I'm
Yeah.
gonna cut you in half and like
Very.
blow you apart. It's like, I'm gonna stab you in the throat and then watch you fall to the ground
Yeah.
and reach for your throat while you gargle on
Right.
the
And then,
blood.
and then
Like,
the NPC enemy friend is screaming his name.
right.
while you're doing
It's
that.
like,
It's like, holy
it's grim.
shit.
It was disturbing.
very
I
Yeah.
like the part where she starts cutting into the guy's stomach. I was like, oh god.
And it's like, I don't know if people are in the mood for that right now.
No, I don't think so. It would be very poor taste for them to release it this year. Period.
Well, I mean,
I
I
got
think
some
it's
bad
I
news
think
for
it's
you,
gonna
BJ.
happen regardless.
It's coming out June 19th.
Like, it's coming out.
This
Yeah.
I
month.
feel like they need to push
Spoiler.
it back more, but okay.
I mean,
I don't-
maybe, and then the game is about Unity. We don't know what the story's about, so.
Right, right. We don't really. It's just in
I don't
terms
know.
of like.
Maybe enough people will
And
play
I don't
and
think
be like, "This
I
is
don't think that there's
horrifying."
any. The thing is, I don't think there's any like commentary in it
Yeah.
that is like negatively applicable to what's going on right now. It's just real grim.
Yeah.
Wait, it really?
So I wonder if like people feel like playing something like that right now. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't. I
Or-
want to get away from the real world. Not going.
Right,
Well, it's
exactly.
not, maybe they want to escape to an even bleaker,
Even
more
a bleaker,
zombie-filled,
more terrible world.
universe. You know, yeah.
God no.
I mean, that's why I listen
Yeah.
to sad music, right?
I don't know. But anyway, the gameplay looks really interesting. And it looks like they've made some like interesting changes to the
design
way
changes.
like Ellie plays. She's a little bit quicker than Joel. Spoiler alert, I guess you play as Ellie.
Well, Joel was in his
but I
mid
think-
40s, was he not? In that game.
Right, Joel was an old
An
man.
old man,
Yeah,
yeah,
Joel's an
dad.
old man. So and it makes sense. And then obviously like throughout the course of the first game, Ellie has a lot of time doing stuff with knives, so she's a lot more like capable of a knife
Feel
fighter.
Stabby.
So yeah, the like melee combat has had like a pretty significant improvement, it looks like.
Do you think that's
But-
like their excuse as to why it's gotten better? Is this newer, younger character is playing, or do you think they did that on purpose?
They probably did
probably-
it on purpose.
yeah,
to,
character thing,
it's
too.
probably like it's probably a little bit of both,
Okay.
right? Because they do explain it away in the trailer as like, yeah, Ellie's better with a knife and faster, so she
She's
can
been
like
living
dodge
around,
and yeah.
she's well done.
But I'm sure they did probably want to make melee combat more dynamic.
I like the-
Yeah, but
It's-
yeah, like I
it's-
said, it looks like The Last of Us. They didn't really show any spoil or any story details. But it looks good,
It looks good.
even if it does look pretty grim. Of course, right now PlayStation 4 exclusive, probably always going to be.
Mhm.
I
That's
bet it
why
will probably come to
haven't put the
PlayStation 5,
Oh,
Yeah,
but
definitely do that. They'd be stupid not to, especially if PlayStation 5 comes out in a few months.
yeah, but you're probably not going to see it on the PC.
They'll do the
Unfortunately.
HD remake.
Not gonna play it then. Shucks.
Yeah,
You can
I
borrow
wish
my
they would just put
PlayStation.
out more stuff on the PC.
Yeah. Nah, I'll just wait till they. I don't want to support. I don't want to support Sony.
Like-
You don't have to support
For not-
anything.
for
You're
not-
not supporting
for not-
anything. The PlayStation has already been bought.
I don't even want to put my hands on something you bought from Sony. No, yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Oh god.
Anyway, go check that out. It's like
Yeah.
28 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Again, viewer discretion is advised
Yeah.
Oh.
But
because
very
it
much
is
so.
violent.
Yeah, very, very violent. But
Uh,
that's how you do gameplay. That's how you show.
probably as violent as this next topic. So this kind of has like 3 elements to it that I didn't know about until I heard this piece of news, right? So we're going to start at the beginning. There's a Borderlands movie that's being made right now.
What?
Right.
It's being developed by Lionsgate. It's being directed by Eli Roth, which I
Oh,
also didn't know.
director of
Ooh.
Hostel.
Fantastic.
I don't remember what else. I'm just gonna say Hostel.
And then, like, the actual bit of news, I suppose, was that reports are Kate Blanchett was cast
Yeah.
as Lilith
Nice.
in the movie adaptation.
She looks
Oh,
like
wow.
Lilith, I will say.
Does
She'll
she?
do a really
Yeah.
good job.
That's cool. Good.
Yeah, I think it was a good pick. People are really like, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, she's too old. And I'm like, guys, it's called makeup.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
And it's
that
like if he really looks that old, they can de-age. We have the technology.
Yeah,
these days. Hollywood has the
like,
technology. to
it doesn't
de-age
matter
people
how
and
old
stuff.
she
And
is.
she still struts it.
yeah, I
But
was
she,
gonna
yeah,
say
she
there's
doesn't
a,
look
there's a
that much
that's-
older. It's
there's
like,
a sexy thing
how
about a
old's-
mature woman, and she
Did
looks
you
like a
how-
see
sexy
her?
mature woman.
Do you remember her in Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah, exactly.
Hella.
Hella.
She was hella fine.
She was hella fun. Yeah.
Aw.
Oh yeah.
So,
Wait, how old's the character? I haven't played any of the Borderlands. How old's
So that's
Hella,
the
she was
thing.
at like thousands of
no,
years
the
old.
character.
oh, we're talking
Oh.
about Borderlands?
Late
Borderlands,
20s,
I
early 30s.
don't, yeah, like late 20s, early 30s,
Just
maybe?
Oh,
yes, they never say her
Oh,
age
yeah.
outright.
They're never very explicit about
Yeah,
the
she could
ages
pull
of
off,
most
like,
of the characters,
20,
except for
30.
like Tina.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Um,
because Tina's what, like 9 or something.
She's like 12 or something like
Yeah,
that in the
she's
first
supposed
or
to
in
be,
the
like, just
second
a
game.
kid. Oh, I miss Tina. She was fucking hilarious.
Anyway, so first
news.
off, do you guys think this is ever going to come out?
Probably not. I
Oh,
feel like
oh,
it's
it's
gonna
not-
be a
it's not-
shelved project.
Right?
eventually.
Like, I feel like this is the type of thing that just like hangs out in development hell for like ever.
Yeah, look at it. It said
And
it
just-
was it was announced in 2015.
I mean, movies have
I
been
mean,
in
movies-
pre-production
yeah.
for much longer than
Mhm.
that.
And especially if like they can't really agree on a script and
Yeah.
stuff like that, it can like bounce around for a long time before they really get the ball rolling.
I guess.
Plus with the Sonic and the Detective Pikachu
True.
movies that were really successful, I feel like
True.
th-
So
uh,
that's the thing.
they really want to double down on these video game movies.
Do you guys think that we're in the start of a potential golden age of video game movie
Oh, I think so.
Yes, please.
where
Possibly?
I've been waiting for
where-
a full-fledged Halo movie,
Oh, that's yeah.
not the
That's-
one they
that's-
made that was just like 40
Uh,
minutes.
Right.
so
right.
like that's the thing, right? And the problem with translating a video game to a movie is that the video or like any like passive watching medium, right? Is that like generally the thing that makes a video game special is the fact that it's like an active piece of media, right? It like the fact that you as a player have agency in the story, right?
Well,
But
Well,
but I will say that I think there are plenty of games that 100% support a format that is conducive to a Hollywood feature film, right? Halo being one of them. The first Halo game can totally be condensed into a movie.
yeah, there's
Right,
so much
yeah.
lore also.
It's about the universe.
Yeah, it's not just
Well,
about
the-
like what
and
you
it's-
played in the games. It's
Yeah.
about like you
Right,
said, if there's
but-
enough lore, they can make their own story using the lore.
But the thing is, I really think it comes down to. I actually feel like I take the opposite approach, where
oh,
the
Oh.
game should be tight and succinct, right?
oh.
Halo is succinct, right? They jump out of orbit from Reach, Halo ring. Master Chief
Mhm.
goes down, they find the flood, they blow up the Halo ring, right? Guilty Sparks is in there somewhere, like, but like you see where like you can fit that
Yeah,
into
that's-
2
that's-
hours.
Yeah, it's a very good
Right.
action movie-esque kind of plot already.
Whereas like a lot of games have like they just go all over the place, right? There's too many like jumps in locations and there's too many things that happen
Right.
that it's hard to like condense it down.
Yeah.
But I think
I-
Halo's one of them.
Yeah.
Borderlands, I don't. How do you like?
I think it's just its own unique story. Like just like Detective Pikachu, it's based in the Pokemon universe, but it has nothing to do with the games. I think
Right,
that's
but
when it
like,
fails. It's
but
like
you've cast Kate Blanchett as Lilith,
right. So these
right?
like
So
characters
it's
will pop
like
up. I don't know. Yeah, it's like
right. So it seems to indicate that you're probably just gonna
yeah.
follow the like plot line of the game, but like
Because I
Borderlands
hate
is
it
a
when
open or like a semi-open world loot shooter.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
And they're
how do
gonna
you
have this
really
stupid kind of like
condense?
pull out, one of the again I don't play Borderlands, but they're probably gonna pull out like a famous weapon and be like, "Oh, look at this
Right,
gun!" Nudge, nudge, wink,
right.
wink, which
Oh God,
I
I was thinking
absolutely
about that.
hate.
How
Um,
much of like, look at all these guns
yeah,
is gonna be in this movie? Oh my God.
like I forgot what's the Doom movie. I
Oh
think the
yeah,
biggest problem
when they
with
got the
movies,
BFG.
Yeah.
when they have a game thing, they want to make it feel like it's a game, but it's a movie. So they go to the first person view. It's like, oh, you're it's a game, but it's a movie. It's just like don't do that. Don't remind me that it's a game. Just like tell me the story. Like wrap me in this universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
And it's um yeah, it's like the Borderlands type of situation where it's like I'm trying to think of like how does it so what like they arrive on the bus and then what is even the plotline of Borderlands 1? Do they do Borderlands 1
do they do
or do they
stuff?
do Borderlands 2? Because the plot of Borderlands 1 is so thin.
Yeah. I mean, you
It's
could probably mix it.
basically like Atlas Corporation is evil and wants the vault. Get to vault before Atlas. Like
I could see Eli Roth. Yeah, he could probably do something with that. Just like kind of more action.
and
It's
it's just like a grindhouse romp as
yeah.
they like make their way to the vault and like kill spider ants and bandits.
Yeah, that might be it. Because I don't think is he known for? He's not really known for like
Or
very deep story.
or do they do Borderlands 2, which has a much more like interesting and their story,
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
which
They
I
could
don't
go
know,
with the
maybe they
handsome
do.
Jack storyline.
Right, that's what I mean. So like Borderlands 2's like Handsome Jack storyline.
No, but I mean like go with the prequel first, like his full storyline, and then introduce the like characters as it goes into the main timeline.
I
Start from the very beginning.
I don't think you start with the pre-sequel.
I don't know. I feel like the movies would have a better chance of doing that.
Definitely
Like
the action route. Like
the main characters don't really do anything in the pre-sequel.
Yeah.
Or like they're kind of I don't know.
I feel like it
We'll
would make
see
more
about
sense
this.
on a cinematic way, like on a cinematic form, to start with a character, whether likable or not, such as Handsome Jack, that's there through the whole series, that can guide you through what happens. And you start with his backstory. Just because Lilith has already been casted doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be that much in the first movie. They're just talking about for the Borderlands series in general.
I just think it's a weird direction to focus on Jack's character.
He's
Like
an interesting character.
but
you're not gonna focus on
he's
an
an
interesting
interesting
character. Yeah.
villain.
You're not gonna focus on it. That's
Like
screenwriting.
he's the like that's why I think you go with Borderlands 2 because it's got him there as such a strong antagonistic villain. But you also but like yeah, that's the thing is when you go with Borderlands 2, then you have all the 4 original Vault Hunters, but then you have the new ones. So like do they all get cast?
You know what?
Are they all there?
Claptrap story. There we go.
Like, oh
Claptrap.
man. And
Here,
this is the
Yeah.
thing, is this is what I'm talking about, right? Where it's like Halo.
Right. Yeah.
You
It's
got
Master Chief.
Chief,
Yeah.
you got Cortana, you got Keys,
Right.
Yeah.
and you got Sergeant.
Right.
You got the Covenant.
Yeah, and you get somebody to voice like, the Prophet of Truth, Guilty Sparks, and maybe you
They
throw
really
Arbiter in there.
fucked up on Halo. They could have had Samuel Jackson towards his like late life prime.
You
doing
could just
Sergeant.
They can.
have you
Yeah.
seen
Mhm.
Captain Marvel? They can
Yeah,
it's
I
fine.
know,
They can
but-
CGI.
Well, also, it's a very long story, but the Halo movie film project, very complicated story that we probably
Yeah.
shouldn't get into because it's really long. And
Yeah. But anyway, but it's like
Oh, maybe we can
there's
talk
like
about that
yeah,
later.
later.
Next
I
time.
feel like the games that should be focused on when you're going to make them into a movie are the things that tell the most succinct of stories,
Yeah.
right?
Can
And
I
I think
guess?
for the most part,
Can I
go ahead.
guess what the story without playing? I mean, I played a little bit of Borderlands 1, but without knowing the story of Borderlands, I'm gonna guess what the movie's gonna be like. You're gonna get introduced to a brand new Vault Hunter, right? They're Vault Hunters, the main characters you play
Yes,
as, right?
Vault Hunters. Yeah.
They're gonna introduce a villain, and they're gonna try to find some vault thingy. And it's gonna just be like 2 hours of this gory action.
I was gonna
And that's
say
pretty much it.
I could definitely pick up a Deadpool vibe from it.
I
Yeah.
was just about to say Deadpool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like comedy romp,
It better
hyper
be.
violent.
Now that we all
Hyper-violence.
hit that same
Right.
wavelength, it better be.
And
Yeah.
then they're gonna introduce the video game characters that you know love.
Yeah.
Throughout the
I can see that. I can see like explosions with cars flying through the air while like Queen
Yeah.
plays or something.
Yeah, and then claptrap or whatever he does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No,
Comic
I see
relief.
it now. Anywho.
Do you guys want to talk about some June releases?
Yeah,
Two releases.
what
Oh,
do
we
you
already said
wanna-
Last of Us.
Yeah, that's the first
What?
one. You want to
So yeah, we are talking about The Last of
quick
Us.
rattle them out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got The Last of Us Part 2, which is coming out June 19th. These are out of order, by the way, in terms of like dates.
Whoopsies. that's
We already
my
talked
bad.
about that. Should be interesting. Naughty Dog is a really good team, and they put out good stuff.
Mhm.
We got a expansion for The Elder Scrolls Online,
Never played
Greymore,
it.
coming out on the 9th.
Like-
I've also never played it.
10
But man,
years later, man.
they just keep putting out
Wow.
expansions for it. It's been
Yeah.
around forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like WoW, right? WoW keeps putting out
And people
expansions.
really like it. Like I know people who like play it religiously. So like it definitely has a fan base there. The problem for me is I've always like, and I think this goes for like most people when it comes to Elder Scrolls games or like Bethesda games in general, when it comes to online, it's like I just want to play Skyrim but with online.
Yeah, with like a
Like,
friend. Like,
Yeah, like why
Co-op.
can't you just build co-op
Yeah.
into these games
Exactly.
rather than having to like go off and like build a whole new type of experience just to support like multiplayer play, when I think for the most
I
part
just
players
wanted my
want
friend. I got the world.
yeah.
Right,
I can,
exactly.
Yeah, I can have this shitty NPC like running the walls in front of me and stuff, but why can't I replace it
Mhm.
with my friend?
And like I'm they've probably like fixed it for the most part by now, but like I remember my first experience with the Elder Scrolls Online being like I got in, I spawned in, and then I got a quest and it was like, hey, go to this cave and get some apples.
Oh,
It's like, all right,
no.
that's an MMO quest if I've ever
Yeah.
heard one. And then I get there and
No.
all of the chests, yeah, there's no apples because all of the chests are not like instants to you. They're like for
Right.
everybody. So like
Yeah.
everybody is there trying to get their fucking apples, and it's like, okay, you've like made every mistake
Yeah.
about how to design this thing, and I just uninstalled it and never played it again.
Why the hell would they not have a specific one for you when you spawn?
Well, and the thing is,
That is
it
the
was
worst.
10 years ago.
I don't care.
Yeah.
WoW
So,
did it
like-
20 years ago. What's your point?
Did they
But
fix it?
but that's my
disgusting.
point. Is like WoW to this day
They still
still,
have that, right?
kind of functions
Yeah.
like that.
'Cause
Right?
that's my biggest
So
problem
it's
with
like
MMORPGs.
MMOs work
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
my point is coming at it from a Elder Scrolls player. I'm
Yeah.
like, this isn't how an Elder Scrolls game works.
No.
Are you the
So-
chosen one in the Elder Scrolls Online, like you're in the normal?
I don't
Elder
know.
Scrolls?
That's a good question.
Like,
I'm gonna
it's
be
like-
honest. I've always kind of
Okay.
hated, particularly in MMOs when they're like,
Yeah,
"You're
you're
the chosen one,"
and then everyone else running around you is also the chosen one.
Like,
Everyone's
it's-
the chosen one. It's just that one crack-potted guy with the like eye twirling around in circles.
Yeah.
You're the
Right.
chosen one.
Yeah, the chosen
And
one.
it's like, well, like I always thought that like, do you guys remember Star Wars Galaxies?
Yeah, I never played it, but yeah, I'm
Right.
familiar with
Star Wars
it.
Galaxies was so cool because it was built originally on the premise of like you're just like a dude in this universe. Like
Just got
you
thrown
got like
into
right.
this.
It's like it wasn't like when you're picking your like classes and stuff. It's not like I'm gonna be a Twi'lek warrior. It's like I'm gonna
By the
pick
way.
a Twi'lek, and
Yeah.
I need to go get a job. I don't know.
As a
Dancing is a
stripper.
good job for Twi'leks, I
Yes.
guess. So I'm gonna be a Twi'lek dancer,
Dancer
right?
like a
Or
Tweety.
like a Rhodian like smuggler. Or it was like you make your character, and then you just like pick a profession and like fit yourself into this world. And like it had combat, but it wasn't like designed around like this whole grand idea of like the RPG per
Yeah.
se. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that like went all the way down to like Jedis. So like it was designed in the game that like Jedis existed, but it was like when you made your character, it like randomly rolled whether or not they were whether or not they were force sensitive.
Okay. That's cool.
So
I
it
like
like just led to people like rolling characters over and over again, and they eventually just like implemented like the like a like quest line where you can become a Jedi,
Find
right?
the Force.
But it's like effectively ruins the premise of the game because from the start the idea is nobody is supposed to be special.
Mhm.
But now when you add this quest line where everybody can become a Jedi, everybody's special. And I really wish they had stuck to their guns
Yeah.
and were just like,
Yeah, but money
No.
rules all.
if you want to roll over and over again to get a Jedi character,
go for
more
it.
power to you. But or they could have probably done it like, and they talked about this on the Castle Super Peeps podcast a little bit. Maybe make it so only mods can be Jedis, and you just like remove that option from the player base. So like they still exist in the world, but like it makes sense as to like who the Jedis are because they are like actually special in the context of the server.
Right.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah,
But-
that would have been cool.
Yeah. Anyway, Elder Scrolls Online expansion's coming out.
Yeah.
I might check it out. They have like free free weekends for it all the time, so I might try check it out at some point here.
What else?
SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is out June 23rd.
Well,
This is a remaster
Oh,
of
it's a
the
remaster.
classic
Yeah, it's been out
PS2 game.
forever.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought this was like a brand new thing. Okay.
No, this is very much your like SpongeBob
If
SquarePants
we do
like
not play
collectathon platform.
on the stream or on the YouTube, I will be very upset, John.
Okay, we're not playing.
You should play it. It's actually genuinely like a good
It's a decent
one of
game.
those like 3D platformers.
Oh man.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm quite fond.
PlayStation
of-
there? PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1?
Yes, it's a PlayStation 2 game.
No, but
Okay.
well, it's coming out on Steam.
Right. I think
No,
it's coming
yeah.
out
But I
on
feel like those
Steam.
platformers make. I just have a problem with those platformers just because it's like just random floating platforms. It just feels very
Right.
gamey.
Yeah.
I like
It
to
is
feel
very
like
gamey.
it's.
But it's under
Like,
the
yeah.
sea, so
Okay,
like
yeah, I
it can
guess.
float around under. Think about
it.
Anyway, moving on. Valorant is out today.
It's up to them. What? Oh, it's June 2nd.
Hopefully, there's some
So-
some good
Eh.
improvements on that game because I was not thoroughly impressed with the closed beta.
Yeah, most of the people here have not been super impressed with it, but who cares what we think because the internet
Loves
loves
it?
it.
Love
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's super good.
Well, I mean, CS. We're not. I mean, I'm not. I know PJ and I aren't fans of CS:GO.
Nope.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
very
like CS:GO
CS:GO,
really.
so
Yeah,
that's
It,
probably why.
it feels dirty because you have.
Hot.
Why would you have to memorize a shooting pattern for a gun?
Yeah.
Why?
Wait, they did that in Valorant too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Same as
Uh,
CS:GO.
it's so archaic, right?
Why do that?
I don't know,
Just put
because
recoil in
it's
your
the
gun
way it's always
like
been
it's
done.
supposed to be.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyhow, let's
Anyway,
move on from that
anyway.
disgusting topic.
Anywho,
Valorant, it exists. Go try it out. You can play it.
It's
Eh.
not-
Does it?
it's
It
not
does
that
it
bad.
launch out of its? Does it
Nope.
launch out of its own launcher?
Yes, you have to download Valorant. It's like
Why?
8 gigs.
Why? Make
Why is it not just a
TFT its own
Riot
launcher?
launcher?
Yeah,
No.
they should just do like what Blizzard
They should
did.
just have a Riot launcher.
Yeah,
No,
like what
no
Blizzard
right
did.
launcher. TFT launcher.
So that's the thing, right? There's a difference between having its
Damn
own
it.
launcher and having, because the thing is TFT, you have to download the entirety of
League.
Mhm.
League.
But the
League
thing
of
is,
Legends.
that
Right.
was before Riot was like, let's become a
True.
behemoth.
Let's start branching it. Yeah.
And so
Yeah, that's
I
true.
can't imagine Valorant being on the League client. I can
Oh, I
imagine
can.
TFT.
It'd be
Well, no,
huge.
no, but you have to understand.
Huge.
Riot has always swapped out game types on League, at least for not always. At least over the past 4 or 5 years, they've switched out game types. TFT was supposed to be an alternating game type, like they're all random games and they're like Earth and stuff, which you guys don't really know anything
Earth?
about. But it was supposed to be similar to that, but a more permanent version of a game mode. But then it became so popular that it became even more than that. Now it's a
Wow.
mainstay. But I still don't see them making its own client anytime soon because most people that are playing League will play TFT to wind down or to warm up their brain and
Hot.
play TFT to go to League after.
But if everything's in one launcher, then you still have TFT there.
Right. So why separate
So-
it? That's a lot of work. They might in the future, and I feel like
Well, that's what I mean. Like, they shouldn't separate. They should consolidate.
oh, you're
like,
talking about
everything-
the Riot
yeah,
launcher. I see.
yeah.
what you're
Everything should be on one Riot launcher where you have
I can agree
Valorant,
with that.
you have all of the different
Oh,
League
yeah.
denominations, the fighting game, the
Kinda
card
like how
game, the
Blizzard
auto
does it.
battler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I was
Blizzard
saying.
does it.
Instead of
Blizzard did
having
it
to
right.
download everything and
Yeah.
then you go into the launcher.
Exactly.
Yeah, that doesn't
Also,
make sense.
Make your launcher more user friendly.
Plus, Riot, like
It's
all
terrible.
of the games you download already go to a Riot folder on your computer. So
Oh wow.
if it already consolidates to one folder, why is it
They might as well
launcher?
consolidate the launcher, yeah.
Right?
100%
Then you don't have
agree
10
with you.
icons for their games on your
All their
desktop.
different games, yeah.
I'd rather have
Mhm.
5 launchers for everything than have all these damn games on my desktop like I used to have to have. But
I'm okay with that.
nope,
Well,
It's a little old fashioned, but it still works.
nope.
yeah, you guys would probably puke if you saw my desktop.
Oh, mine's
God.
bad
It's
too.
Mine's
Yeah.
bad.
Have
It's
you
mostly
seen all of
projects?
have you seen all of the video projects and audio projects that John and I have? I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Anyway, those are some of the June releases.
Oh, Hunting Sim 2,
we'll...
June
Do you want
30th.
to talk about Hunting Sim?
Oh yeah,
okay,
there's
Hunting
a,
Sim 2.
there's a dog in
God,
it.
he's
That's
orgasming.
all I wanted to say.
Wow.
I was gonna save it until next episode.
Oh,
But we
you
can talk
were?
about Hunting Sim 2.
Okay, we can talk more about it.
We'll burn through this real quick. Hunting Sim 2.
There's
It's
a
got
dog
a
in
dog.
it.
You
Or
can
two
do
dogs.
hunting.
I think two breeds.
Are you
I'm gonna be
serious?
honest. I actually genuinely like hunting games. I
I-
used to play a lot of like the Cabela hunting games
Oh,
on
really?
the like original Xbox and the PS2 and stuff.
I played I did the arcade shooty one, but after playing I didn't realize I was like a sim lover. But after playing Truck Sim, I was like, I gotta play more sim games. So,
Yeah. No, I remember it'd be like get on the you'd have to like go and like zero your rifle and then like get on the ATV and drive out
That
into like the
sounds like a
forest
Joey game.
and then just
dude.
hang out and wait for deer.
Oh, dude, that
The
sounds
dir.
good.
Dude. Anyway,
Oh yeah, Billy Bob might
so
go hunting.
Huntington 2. Yeah, we might see some Billy Bob hunting. And then we got Best Friends Forever.
Billy Bob,
June
just Billy
18th.
Bob, not Billy Bob and Earl.
Oh yeah, Earl.
Uh,
Oh yeah, Earl
gra-
could have.
What about
Hey,
Trish?
let's keep this
Trish
rolling.
come-
Let's keep this rolling.
Yeah. Best Friends
Best
Forever.
Friends Forever.
It's a dating sim
it's-
slash pet sim,
Gross.
and
Oh, wow.
I want Sewa to play it on our YouTube channel or something.
Yeah,
Sounds
we'll
like
work
fun.
something out. Mm-hmm.
So are you like?
That's cool.
Are you take? How does this work? You're taking care of animals and then
yeah.
also like what
And you're
dating
trying to-
their
trying
owners,
to
like romancing their owners, or
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like Dream
Okay.
Daddy.
all right,
Yeah, it's Dream Daddy with
but
pets
with dogs.
and dogs and yeah.
Okay. All right. Those June releases. We've been sitting on this for a long time, and I really want to burn through it.
Go for
All right.
it, or we might as well. It's too late now.
It's too late now.
We can't turn.
We
it
got the
back.
PC Palooza.
Oh,
PC
yes,
Palooza.
finally. I've been waiting weeks for this.
Garrick's been sitting on this for a long time. Here's
Oh
some
my
PC
God.
games that either were originally announced for console or were going to be on console and are now coming out on PC.
Because we PC gamers.
Better be quick, or I'm just gonna get up and go get Oreos in the middle of this shit.
Oreos.
You can go up and get Oreos if you want, by all means.
No, I want to see. I want to hear what's going on here.
Okay, we're going to start off Mortal Shell.
I forgot about this.
It looks like a third-person action game.
Action.
Very,
Souls-esque?
very Dark Souls-y vibes
yes,
from
yes.
it.
I like the creature designs.
Who is it? Do you guys know who it's being developed by?
Good question.
Let's check it
Joey.
out.
Let's find out.
It is developed by Cold Symmetry.
Cold Symmetry.
Ah,
Have they ever made anything else before?
Never heard of them.
I don't know. But anyway, Mortal Shell, third-person action RPG. Is maybe not the right term. I would describe it as an action game with RPG elements. That's the problem. Is we start getting into like the weeds of the genres. Not to get off topic too much, but like an ARPG, like an action RPG, right? Is typically what you would refer to like Diablo or Minecraft as, right? But then now we have this whole genre of like the Dark Souls, like castle, like Metroidvania type of deal that are also like third-person action RPGs. So I guess that's the distinction.
Right.
You're either talking isometric or you're talking third person.
Yeah. I mean, the RPGs has always confused me as a term because I've always thought of it as like you're role playing as a character. So it's like you make a character, like D&D, I guess.
Right.
So it's weird when you hear like JRPGs when you don't really design characters in JRPGs. It's just
right.
I don't know what makes it RPG.
Whenever someone
But
says
yeah.
RPG, I always imagine the fat guy walking into the room with his wife in the police officer suit, eating a donut.
Wait, what? Oh, role playing. Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I think it basically comes down to like, do you level up? Are there like stats or like equipment with like different effects?
Like role playing is leveling up in stats.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Like if you go back to like the concept of like the role playing, like the tabletop role playing game, it's really about like telling a story, about like inhabiting a character in a world and telling a story through those characters.
And that's why I never thought like Pokemon or Final Fantasy were RPG. They never were considered RPG to me just because you weren't,
you're thrusted into
you don't have
a story.
You don't have it. Yeah, you're right. You don't have agency over how the story goes. I understand where you're.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Genres,
so
they're hard.
Anyway, one thing I'll say about Mortal Shell, it looks like it has an element of like, it looks like you like take over enemy bodies or something like that.
Hot.
Its name
and
is
yeah, it's very Dark Souls. You're like parrying and stuff like that. So
I haven't played Dark Souls. Was it just as like creepy?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That game's all about like the horror aspect.
Dark Souls 1, maybe not so much.
2 and then Bloodborne.
But
Definitely.
like Bloodborne 100%. Yeah, and Dark Souls 3, I think they kind of lean into a little bit more of the horror aspects.
I didn't play Dark Souls, but Bloodborne was the most fucking infuriating game I've ever played in my life. It's so difficult.
Bloodborne is one of my favorite games of all time.
Good game, but infuriating.
It's hard. It's not for everybody.
People that don't like to play the same level 70 times.
Yeah, No, you just gotta get good though, PJ.
Yeah, get good.
As good as I got, I was just like, I can't continue on with this game because I think I will punch a hole through my TV. I legit got through. If we're putting in Game Grumps episodes, I probably got through the first 10 Game Grumps episodes, and then after that, I was like, wow, this is just getting to a point where I'm wasting so much time sitting here playing the same level.
What a weird
Yeah.
way to
Measure
describe
it.
that, because if nobody's ever seen Game Grumps before, they have no idea how far Aaron got in those 10 episodes.
Exactly, but I'm just saying, like, that's the only way I can gauge it because that game is so, like, weird in its progress. Like, I think if you take out, like, let's just say you take out the enemies and you just walk through the game, it's short. It's very short. But
I mean,
then
I
you
would say
add
that
in,
for most games.
huh?
I would say that for most games, but yeah,
No, but I'm
just
saying,
take out
like,
enemies.
for a game that is so deceptively long,
Oh,
it's
okay.
very short. Like, if
Right.
you just walk through the area, you're like, holy crap, that thing that took me 8 hours to get through took 2 minutes to walk to. Like, that's how short it is, and it's crazy. And they're very good at layering the map over itself. Like, there's passageways where you climb up and then you cross a bridge, and then right below you had just fought something big.
Very vertical.
I appreciate how much of the magic of the franchise you got from your very limited playtime.
Yeah, well,
Because you like get it, but you just don't like playing it because it's hard.
it's not that I don't like playing it because it's hard. I don't like
Well, because
playing
it's
the
your
same thing 100 times in order
yeah.
to get good. I'm a very lazy
It's frustrating
gamer.
because you don't make progress.
Right.
Oh,
But
I was gonna ask.
I'm glad that I understand the point of the game. Like, they did a really good job at condensing everything down into a solid little point. And I
So would
appreciate
it
that.
be a good streaming game or a
Oh
good like
no,
video
people would
game? No.
hate you.
No, you should 100% stream it. People
stream it.
love when players play it for the first time blind.
Okay. This is a
Maybe do
one-off
one
thing.
episode of it. Yeah, I was gonna say do one episode of it, unless if you play it prior and get really good at it, like
I'm
Aaron
kind of
did.
carnal
No,
at
don't play
games.
it prior. You don't want to play it prior.
Okay.
You want to go into it completely blind. That's what people are looking
I felt like the
okay.
only reason why I could stand watching the Game Grumps version of it is because Aaron was decent at it.
And I can hang out and coach you.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
But you probably wouldn't play Bloodborne because Bloodborne's on PS4 only.
Oh no.
We're not doing
But
a good job at banging these out. I'm just gonna.
I know,
say
right?
real quick.
But
So
Dark Souls, you can't get on PC.
Okay.
So anyway, Mortal Shell, it looks really neat.
It's like Dark Souls.
Coming out 2020. Garrick, next one, Little Nightmares 2.
Oh, Little Nightmares is
Creepy
a
as fuck.
platformer. It's a. I guess we're going with the theme here, kind of creepy vibes
I like
so
the
far.
creepy vibe of this. It's
It-
like
it looks beautiful.
almost
It's very
claymation-like. It's not claymation, but it
It
looks
felt
kind of
very
like
Tim
that.
Burton-y when I
Yeah.
saw it.
Well, it reminds me of that PS2 game with the doll,
The doll.
like from
Jet
Murder Trivia Party.
Oh,
What's that called, PJ? I remember
Murder
you played it a
Trivia
little
Party.
bit. But
The doll
anyways,
on PS2.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll come to you eventually.
Wait.
But I'm not sure how Little Nightmares 1 played, but there's gonna be some kind of interaction with 6, which is
6.
the one in the hoodie that
Oh.
is apparently fading away. So
Oh
it's gonna be
no.
an interesting storyline, an interesting dynamic. I think there's gonna be a lot of physics where you kind of have to puzzle your way through and think about it. So yeah.
Nice.
So there's two characters. Is it like a single player escort type of deal, or is it a co-op deal?
Yeah, I was looking into it. I believe it might be a single player where you're switching off between the two characters, or she's helping you, 6 is helping you, or something
You're not talking
of the
about
sort. So
Little Big Planet, are you?
yeah,
No.
yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah.
I
Isn't
did
it
not get that vibe. Wait, what?
really? Is it not dark?
No.
Is
He's
Little
talking about like the gameplay of it is like that, not the aesthetics.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like a
sure.
2D.
Well,
Yeah,
it's more like
okay,
if
I can see that.
it's more like Inside or like the same creators as Limbo made the game called Inside. Kind of had
Right.
that kind of vibe. Side scrolly.
You're kind of like 2D
I-
puzzle-y.
Yeah, I mean they're all the same. The only thing that changes is the skin, not the game. They're all platformers.
True, Dad.
So
You can
Anyway,
only
looks
interface
really
so
good.
much.
It was really nice art style.
it's been out
Yeah, I
for
like
a
the art.
while, so it's just coming to the PC now.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
Chivalry 2
Oh wow.
Everyone knows this
announced for
game, right?
2020.
Wow.
For the most, I mean, I have Chivalry 1. It's funny to see Chivalry 2 announced when Mordhau exists.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
remember the first one was very janky. Is my memory correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first one being janky, but Garrick, what is there to be excited about in Chivalry?
Well, I
Less
think
janky?
the biggest thing about this is that, like you mentioned, they have Mordhau to learn from. So Mordhau innovated. So I'm hoping Chivalry 2 will innovate just as much.
Is
But
it same developers or?
No,
I
for
mean-
different
I mean-
developers. So, like,
It's
Mordhau is developed by
Torn
people
Banner
who.
Studios.
I'm pretty sure a lot of the main development team for Mordhau were like top players in the Chivalry community,
Oh, okay.
and they basically like took their like knowledge of Chivalry and tried to build a game that was like Chivalry but better than Chivalry.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's funny to see like maybe the reverse now happen where like
Yeah.
Chivalry is going to hit back with like, oh yeah, well we got Chivalry 2, and they'll improve on things that are kind of a problem in Mordhau.
Nice.
Anything else you got to say about that one, Garrick?
Oh no, not at all. I might actually get into this because I almost got into Mordhau and For Honor and all that, but coming from the originators back with Chivalry in 2012, I'm kind of excited.
Such
So
a
looking forward to it.
larper.
What do you mean?
We should do
Lightning
LARPing,
bolt,
guys.
lightning bolt,
Let's go.
lightning bolt.
Okay.
All right. Dark Pictures, Little Hope. This is the next part of the Dark Pictures
I love it.
anthology.
Another
The
creepy
first
game.
one was The Man of Medan.
Oh yeah.
Look how creepy
This is
it
the
is,
next
guys.
one.
The narrator's
Yeah,
back.
these are cool. Yeah, the narrator's still there.
Is that Sean Bean? I see.
Is
I
Sean Bean's this one?
don't think it's Sean Bean.
Is it not?
You mean
I
the
think it's
narrator?
like,
Seems
yeah.
like someone that would
No.
die soon.
Batman.
Could you imagine how they wouldn't? They don't have the money to get Sean Bean.
Yeah, no.
Maybe I don't know.
It's Bandai. They don't have the money for that.
Wait,
I don't know. Bandai has the money to get George R. R. Martin on the like next FromSoft game, so maybe they do got the money to get
Yeah.
Sean
is-
Bean for these
so
Dark
why
Pictures
does-
anthology.
why does this game give me the vibes of Until
it is.
Dawn?
Because it's
Same-
made by that
same.
team.
Same team, man.
That explains it.
Yeah. So it's basically like Until Dawn, but like other stories.
Even the creature, the
So-
creature looks
Oh.
the same.
That's right. So, William Poulter, I can't say his name. The guy from the Maze Runner and the Chronicles of Narnia kid,
Mhm.
he's in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty good about getting like actors in it.
Was he in the last
Um,
one? Or was he-
No. So that's the thing.
Okay.
It's like all of these Dark Pictures anthology things are kind of like their own separate
Right.
stories. So the
Yeah.
first one, Man of Medan, was a kind of like, not to spoil too much, but kind of like it was about like some people who were looking for treasure on a boat.
Treasure divers, yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
watched the Game
looks
Grumps.
like this one, Little Hope, is going to be a mix of a like Blair Witch / like witch trial type of deal going
Yeah.
on in the past.
I like it. I
So
like it.
yeah, I think it looks interesting. I personally think it looks more interesting than Man and Medan story.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, it's gonna be
excited
out
to see that one.
summer.
So
Mhm.
here's our
Oh.
challenge. The next
2020.
few topics, 100% go, like machine gun it.
Okay.
If you
let's
want to
do it.
leave, you can leave.
No, I
No,
want to
we're gonna
see
do
if
it.
we can do it.
We're gonna do it. Okay, so
Okay.
Baldur's Gate 3
Oh,
is
that's a sequel.
it's a number 3. It's
a
a
two.
trequel.
Yeah, trequel.
That's
It's
true.
something
Trequel
that
different games.
everybody's been looking forward to
Are we
because
Irish
it's
now?
just like other PC games that have been a few other PC games that have been on the list. They've been asking for this for a while, and it's another adventure game. They're developed by the Guerrilla Collective,
Whoa.
and its developers that include the people who developed Frostpunk, Satisfactory. and all that other stuff. Um, so there's that. If you're a huge PC player and you've been into Baldur's Gate
Oh, can't say I have.
franchise, check it out.
Cool.
More info's coming next week for it. It'll be available on
Ooh, we're
Steam.
gonna have a big news week next week.
Yeah, I know.
Woo.
There you go. There's one.
Psychonauts 2 sequel. Cool.
Anyone
Yeah.
play the first one?
No,
Part
I
of
watch
it.
people play it.
Yeah, I've only played it like once or twice. I never owned it.
Had a
I think I
unique feel
rented
to it. It was different. It just I feel like there was a lot of problems with it as well. A lot of glitches. But I mean it's an old game.
People love it though.
Yeah,
So and
it's-
it's really it from what I've seen from the gameplay of Psychonauts 2, it really seems like they're going all out
No,
and
Yeah.
like
they have the
It looks-
technology.
making this one the one.
It's
Well,
very
and
creepy.
it's a game that people have been asking for so
Right.
long from
That's a
the studio.
Tim Schafer game, right?
Yeah.
Is he still on it?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
being
nice,
made by
nice,
Double
nice.
Fine, yeah.
Cool.
So
I don't know
Yeah,
what that says.
pretty good.
looks cool. Really good art style that you expect from Psychonauts. And next.
Okay,
what is-
so Spiritfarer is
Whoa.
an interesting game. It's not for everyone because it's a management game about
Oh.
dying.
And
So
furries.
you're
Wait, about dying?
yeah, you're supposed to help people die essentially.
I like that concept.
Yeah, so
Is
essentially
this-
you play as Stella, the fairy master, to the deceased.
Stella. Is this hand drawn?
I know it's that's what caught my eye is that it's such a
Really
crazy
beautiful
art
art.
style. It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
John, there's a furry deer in it.
You're a furry deer.
Just for you.
But you do a lot of things like farming, mining, fishing, and harvesting and stuff
Doesn't
like
sound
that.
like death
so-
bringing, but okay.
Well, you have to help. You have to feed them and to get ready to
Dead
die.
people?
I guess.
Okay.
Yes,
Sounds
but
interesting.
we'll see more. Check it out. If
Yeah.
you like management games, that's the one for you.
Cool.
Next.
Next.
Outriders. This one I'm really excited about. We haven't heard much about it because it's I don't know. There's it gives me a lot of Mass Effect vibes.
I was about to
it's
say
a
it looks exactly like Mass Effect.
3-player
It-
co-op.
It's like what
with
if Mass
abilities.
Effect?
Go
What if
on.
Mass Effect but Destiny?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that too.
Oh really? I was getting like
I-
Gears of War cover shooting.
Well, but I
Vibes.
mean that's Mass Effect.
I guess, yeah. I never did that because I was bad at that game, and gunplay was kind of lame.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
the first I just played the first Mass Effect. I did not like the game gunplay in Mass Effect.
Because the other
go better on the
remind me
second one.
because I haven't played Mass Effect in a while. There's a cover system too, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole
It was really
game is
bad.
built around the cover system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
those
So-
bad.
So I personally have never had a problem with Mass Effect's combat. I beat the first Mass Effect on Insanity.
Oh my
I
god.
think it's fine.
Oh my god.
Like you stay in cover and you shoot things. It's a cover shooter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe an RPG cover. I just didn't like that combo.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when you're in cover all the time, like how often are you using your abilities?
Hmm.
But then again, there is like the Division that gets around that. So, the Division is a cover shooter. Like you're not in cover, you are dying. And they still have like meaningful abilities and stuff like that. But it does look like Outriders is going for more of a like mixture of like, yeah, you're going to do some cover shooting, but you're also going to like get out of cover and like do some big abilities and stuff here and there.
Yeah,
Well, and their weird 3-player co-op from what I'm seeing
it's
here.
gonna be fun.
It's gonna be strange. I hate the fact that everything's doing 3-player co-op now. But
Well, also
That's so annoying.
I think it's gonna replace your 2 AI that follow you around with 2 people. But
Why don't
who
they just do
knows
4?
if
I don't understand that.
I don't know. It might be they're just trying to stick with that format because if you do, I don't know, maybe depending on the map layout, it might be tight enough to where like in the old Mass Effects where they were linear, it wouldn't get too tight, right?
Yeah, I wonder if it's probably a design decision right? So like the more players that you add to the squad, the bigger you need to make the combat environments to
Yeah.
support
Yeah,
that
but then that should be
amount of
based off a
players.
difficulty level. So if you want to play on an insane difficulty level, you can't have 4 people.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean, PJ, but it doesn't. I honestly, I don't feel like it needs to be a clean four even players.
I
It would be
understand the
cool.
rule of thirds is finally hitting like everything. But
Really, the issue is that it's not. The issue isn't that squads of threes exist. The issue is that in a lot of games where you can only group it in a squad of three, they don't have anything where you can group up in anything bigger.
right.
It's
Okay, I
like
can agree with that.
Destiny gets around this because, like, yeah, you only have squads of three for like regular strike content or whatever, but like PvP is sixes or more, raids are sixes, like
There's so
Gambit's
much.
fours. Like, there's a lot of other content that has differing sizes of squads.
Right.
So you have stuff that you can do no matter the amount of players that you're playing with.
And also a quick example, not to get too into it, Call of Duty, the dynamic really changes in Warzone when you go play solos, duos, trios, or
Yeah.
quads. So
Right.
same thing with Outriders. There's a reason for it. We'll
If
see
you
with
really
more
want to
gameplay.
like fine tune the game or like the combat encounters, I think it's easier to do that with the less players you have.
Yeah.
Like the more
Yeah.
players you throw into the mix, the kind of more loosey goosey you have to be
It
about
gets
the
chaotic.
about the combat design. Yeah,
Gets
and
yeah.
you definitely see that in the Division, which is 4 players. Sometimes it gets kind of crazy
Oh yeah, definitely.
in terms of like the like amount of space that you're in and like the enemy's ability to like flank you and stuff like that. Because like the environments have to be bigger, and again because it expects you to have more players, they throw more things at you from the side and stuff.
Not only that,
So
because everything's scaled up, that means a bigger map. That means more unnecessary walking, which I'm not okay with.
that's true too.
So, but anyways, on Outriders, it's made by Square Enix. Just
Well, no,
Cause.
it's being
Published.
it's being published
sorry.
by Square Enix. It's being developed by People Can Fly,
Oh.
No, they can't.
which is the team that did Bullet Storm.
Oh,
Is
okay.
the name of that game.
Oh, Bulletstorm. Yeah.
I know that. I know that game.
Bulletstorm was,
Yes.
It wasn't great.
Well,
And
we'll
let me
see.
look, because you
We'll
might
see.
be right. No, yeah, it's developed by People Can Fly. It's being published by Square Enix.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I don't know. It was initially met with a lot of like people look at it and they're just like, this already exists. It's called Destiny. But like
But it's third
these
from
games
looking
were
at
out
like
before.
if you go look at gameplay, like I feel like it pretty clearly distinguishes itself apart from Destiny.
yeah.
So go check it out because I think it looks cool. All right, next Crusader Kings.
Game that
Crusader
I'll never
Kings
play.
is
Oh my
a
God.
PC game for
Oh,
PC gamers. So console players can walk away, PJ.
Uh-huh.
So basically, it's a grand strategy game, just
Boring.
like all the other grand strategy games. But what
Wow.
kind of takes it a step further is
How boring it
how
is.
you, as a leader, have a heritage. You have to mate with someone
Hot.
Or
and
incest.
make
So-
offspring to continue your
royal blood.
legacy and continue
With your
ruling
sister
and
wife.
continue the game.
This is
So
true.
it's
Sweet.
almost like relative real time for this
It's
grand
got
strategy.
it's got a whole like lineage mechanic that affects the outcome of the. Is what you're saying basically?
Yeah, exactly. And
It'd be like if you were playing Civ, but like every certain number of turns, you had to like change leaders, and it had like dynamic effects on your country.
it's a very deep game. There's a lot of intrigue as well, where if you don't like your cousin, because
Kill him.
he's a bad guy, you can kill him. But things can happen. The RNG can happen where
Oh no, your
you try
uncle's
to
gonna get the
passively,
throne.
yeah,
Mhm.
or you could try to
Kill.
passively kill him through battles, but it so happens that he ends up getting better and better at each battle and surviving somehow, and becomes like the #1 general, and
You try
everybody
to.
loves him. So you're like in deep, and so you don't know what to do anymore, and you have this terrible guy that you tried to get rid of passively instead of assassinating him. So, oops,
Or marrying him off to
Whoops.
some
Whoopsie daisy.
lonely.
I
I
know,
I
right?
accidentally turned the person I wanted to kill into a monster.
Yeah, into a hero that everybody loves.
All right,
Anyways,
sounds
yeah,
good. Next
that's
game.
good.
Sounds
Last game.
Sable. Oh, we made it,
Stable.
guys.
Is it a horsey
Sable.
game? Oh, Sable. I used to Stable.
Yeah, Sable with an S.
Oh.
It's a very atmospheric game. The art style is very, very trippy. It's almost like a penciled in art style.
Uh-huh.
It reminds me of Adult Swim.
So
Don't swim.
it
Or what's
it
that?
can be pretty interesting.
Megalopolis?
Oh,
What's it?
Metalocalypse.
Metalocalypse.
Yeah, doesn't kind of got that vibe.
A little bit.
Kind of that LSD but 3D vibe.
It almost has a Bob's Burger feel too.
What?
I don't know why.
There's no burgers in that game. Wait, is there burgers?
Probably.
Here.
I don't
Okay,
know, man. It's weird. It's very
Okay.
weird, and I don't
Okay.
understand what the gameplay is.
Yeah. So
It looks like that co-op Sony game.
Basically it's a stylish quote unquote
Journey.
open world exploration game.
Yeah, Journey.
Developed by Shedworks. 2-man job right there. And you just
Nice.
explore the desert to seek out monuments and monoliths and other characters. And there's AI or NPCs out there that want to tell you their story
Stories.
and all
Oh,
that. So
God.
it's very story. It's story based, but there's no storyline. So you have the freedom to explore almost, and you kind of piece together the story yourself, I guess. So it's gonna be an
Oh.
interesting take on this whole exploration genre.
I like the art.
hmm
Art's cool.
I don't know though, like
It's got a really cool art style. It's like very comic
cel-shaded,
booky.
but yeah.
yeah,
It's
almost
like really
anime, too.
heavy, like black line
Yeah.
work.
yeah. But when they were like the opening scene where she's or he or she's exploring the desert, it's very flickery, so it kind of messes with my eyes. But later on through the trailer, it kind of looks really cool.
Oh, you mean the animation frame rate?
The Sable Eye?
Could be.
Flickering. Sable, that's a Pokemon.
That is a Pokemon.
Wow.
It's a Pokemon that deserves an evolution. Tell me why Sableye's never gotten an evolution. Has a
Sad,
Mega
sad
form,
Oh,
which is weird.
That's kind of lame.
And we finished with Pokemon again, guys.
Yeah,
I know,
wow.
right? We
It's
can't-
like
we
life.
can't help.
Life is like
Does it have a
circle.
Dynamax?
Coming back full
There's a
circle.
reason it's the #1 franchise in the world.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Just hook everybody
Can't
back
get
in
it
with
off the mind.
Pokemon.
Okay, we'll leave.
All
with
right.
The fun fact
We'll
of
close on
Oreos
Sableye.
are vegan, as John
What?
told
Wow.
us in the chat. here.
That's
It's
secret.
true.
That's secret information.
All right, we're gonna close out the show. Streaming this week, John. What do you got going on? What's going on
wow.
Wednesday?
I'm
What's
playing,
going on Friday?
Well, we're playing. Wednesday we're playing, of course, Minecraft Dungeons.
Oh,
more
wow.
than that.
How exciting.
And then I'm doing some solo plays on Friday. Some Subnautica. Loving the game, by the way. I'll maybe do a more in-depth review next stream. I'm loving it.
Which game you cut out?
Subnautica.
Wow.
Subnautica. Cool,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
can
we
find
need
that
to get your
over on.
impressions of it.
Yeah. Next
We'll
week.
get that next week.
Okay, next week.
Yeah, we had Minecraft impressions this week,
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. One at a time.
Also, I need to play more because I really want to
He
play
has
more.
no idea what he's doing yet.
and that's on Twitch.
Figure it out.
Do you have a Twitch URL? Twitch
Yeah,
slash
it's
Cameraman John.
Twitch.tv/Cameraman John. One word.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then
How exciting.
YouTube, you can find us on YouTube at the Phat Peeps.
You might
Or
be
you might be
listening to
watching
this
it. Yeah.
podcast on it.
Oh,
But if not,
Whoa.
go check us out at the Phat Peeps. We are playing Child of Light and Assassin's Creed, and soon we will be playing more games, and we will be having more people playing more games. So check that out.
Everybody loves more
Yeah.
content.
More!
BJ,
Oh,
could you slap in
yeah.
that? Can you slap in that anime? Wow sound.
Wow!
No. Okay, never mind.
Well,
Oh.
close enough.
Close enough.
Oh, you want me to go find stuff? I don't get
Yeah.
paid for this.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us over here.
Now I'll put it
Thanks,
in anime. one
everybody, for listening,
Thanks.
and
Yeah,
we'll catch you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Timmy?